Hello, welcome to another RHLSTP, and this one is recorded at the Lowry Theatre with a wonderful friend of the show, Sarah Millican, who also features on one of the trump cards of my new Trump game you can get by backing our Kickstarter at rhlstp.co.uk/Kickstarter. Go and check that out for some amazing rewards, which will help us film these shows. If you like seeing the films of the shows, this is the good way to get that done. My dog's about to attack we are also out on tour. That's Ben Evans, that one, the Ben Evans who asked Stephen Fry that question. There's a dog chasing one of those cameras that fly around. It's amazing. Drones, what are they called? I don't know. It's not the point. That's not what we're here for. We're on tour. Go to rhlstp.co.uk/gigs or richardherring.com/rhlstp/tour. You can see all the amazing acts we've got coming up, all the great places we're coming to. And please book tickets to that. Some of them are selling really well. Some of them aren't selling that well. But if you book ahead, that will help us sell out or sell some more tickets. Go to richardherring.com/gigs, rhlstp.co.uk. Help us with the Kickstarter if you want us to carry on filming these. If you don't, doesn't matter. We'll just do them as audios. Bye!
What the literal fuck happened there then? Stupid Spotify. How we doing, boys and girls? Welcome, welcome. Apologies for that slight weird interruption on the old Spotify. First thing, I took a quick bathroom break before the stream and Spotify decides to play something completely random. Yeah, let's hope that wasn't too copyrighted. How are we all doing, boys and girls? Are we good? Are we good? Let's turn that down a little bit. They don't lie when they say you get your first million, it goes up. Yep, once you get the first one, they all start rolling pretty quickly. So, who we got here this morning? We got a whole bunch of the coffee crew. Thank you, my boys. Thank you, my girls. Welcome, welcome. First time catching a live stream, been enjoying the VODs. I'm always in debate of whether I should leave the VODs up or not, but I also get a lot of people saying that they enjoy watching the VODs, so hey, why not? Appreciate it. Just picked up my previous 24-hour worth of gold from the mailbox. 4 million gold just in legendaries. Gonna start falling behind on my raid character because the auction house is too fun. Yeah, I can understand that. I have no idea how much is in my mailbox. I barely played yesterday. It's not going to be anywhere near 4 million gold. But yes, the legendary sales are pumping right now. Looking forward to the weekend. Then prices went up by 50% and Legos didn't budge. I did notice actually. I did notice that the material prices were doing some wacky things. Mainly the fact that it's very obvious that all the people that spent the last couple of weeks farming are now not farming anymore. The fact that Elithium ore is almost becoming rare again, which is really strange. I'm yet to check the auction house prices this morning. I'm concerned about how little materials there are kicking about. The callous hide just disappeared on my realm on Saturday. Just gone. Poof. All of it disappeared. At one point I think it went up to about 3,000 gold per heavy callous hide. Now that was obviously because somebody literally bought everything. But the fact that we are 3 weeks into the expansion launch and still materials are the second they hit the auction house, somebody's buying them all out. It's a bit crazy. Phaedrum ore and Elithium ore gone up like crazy on my realm. Yeah. Farmers have stopped farming. All the farmers were obviously Mythic Pluses or Raiders that were just bored with nothing to do. So they were farming. It's going to do some weird things going forward because in terms of legendaries, the actual cost of legendaries is skyrocketing. Every time we go from one tier to the next or one rank to the next rank, the amount of materials we need every time increases. Like a rank 4 legendary takes 4 times as many materials as a rank 1 to craft. So when the demand comes for rank 3s and rank 4s, the material market is going to be screwed. We may on all but the largest of realms start to see materials just drying up, and prices will go through the roof when that happens. There used to be a bug that allowed farming Elithium ore in the Maw without getting Jailer's Eye, but that's been hotfixed. You get Eye for farming Nightshade as well. I assume that's impacting supply. Maybe. One thing I will say that's definitely a key fact is that some people were pushing hard in the Maw for a while until they got the reputation that they wanted. In many cases, that was Venari revered. I can't remember what her actual reputation is called, but people wanted to get to revered at the very least and wanted to do it quickly because a crafter's mark rank 2, and if they just so happened to be a miner at the same time or a herbalist at the same time, then hey presto, a load of materials. But a lot more people are hitting that point now, and people are kind of like, people don't want to be in the Maw at the best times. Exalted with Revendreth for cheap Luminous Flux and revered with Bastion, so shards cost only 106 gold. Really worth it. Yeah. On my to-do list on a daily basis is to get all the Bastion reputation right now on my main character. Simply for that exact purpose. I'm only honoured with them so far, but that's still brought down the cost to I think 112 gold per, which is making all the difference. Does that mean we should be stockpiling materials? I very, very, very rarely suggest anybody stockpile materials. The volatility of materials is so high right now. One day they're one price, the next day they're another price. It means that stockpiling anything becomes very risky, because all you do, if you keep buying a whole bunch of stuff, all you're doing is you're telling the farmers that it's massively in demand. When you stop buying it, the prices crash. Stockpiling is always pretty dangerous. Loving my 108 arboreal shard costs. Yeah, going down from honoured to revered is only 4 gold, but it will make a huge difference considering I'm literally buying thousands of arboreal shards a day right now. Thank you for the groups. I managed to make my operations for the sale of legendaries and can finally compete on the auction house. Saturday was 5 million for legendary sales. That's pretty impressive. What would you say is a safe stockpile then? About 1,000 of each mat? I wouldn't stockpile at all. Honest answer is I just wouldn't stockpile at all. If you see the market, if you track the market prices of the materials on your server, when you see them cheap, sure, buy a bunch of them, but never buy more than you're actually going to use in a few days. If anything, 1,500 gold is a steal. I imagine hides going for 2,500 or more. I genuinely feel the same way. I'm going to be surprised if the price of hides go down. What I have also noticed as well, I've very much noticed that male wearing classes and leather wearing classes are not buying their legendaries. Just not in anywhere near the quantity that plate wearers and cloth wearers are. And that has to do with the price of the legendaries. For example, yesterday somebody sent me a mean whisper, very mean whisper, saying there's no fucking way I'm going to pay 100k for the helm. I obviously worked out what they were talking about because they were a shaman, and I worked out that they were talking about the Bone Shatter helm. Now, when I then turned around to him and told him that, yeah, I'm listing them on the auction house for 100k, but do you know it cost me 70k to make that item? He was like, 70k for one item? People just think that they're super expensive now and they're going to be half the price next week. And if I look at the quantity of sales I've made, Shadowghast gear, plate gear, flying off the shelves. As quick as I can craft it and restock it, it's out of there. Especially the legs. Oh my god. What they call Shadowghast Greaves. I physically can't keep those in stock. They sell so fast. But leatherworking, leatherworking in general, both leather and mail, I'm really struggling. Even I know I'm very behind with both leatherworking and mail, leather and mail armor slots, simply because I just do not have the heavy callous hide to craft things with. But I mean, look, I'll show you some numbers. This is kind of interesting. If we look at let's go ledger and then revenue. And we go Shadowghast, if I can spell it. If we look at the amount of Shadowghast items sold, 860. Now I know in here there's going to be the ring and neck and stuff, so it's going to sway it slightly. But but 860 Shadowgast items or different sales, and you can see there's a whole load of them. I rarely sell the ingots by themselves, so then it's not enough in there to make much of a difference. Alright, there was a bunch of them here, sure, and a few rings and necks at the beginning, but for the most part, that's a reasonable amount of materials being sold. Then we go Umberhide. Umberhide, only 117. Bone Shatter, only 114. So even combined leatherworking as a profession, I've only sold like literally 1/4. Only about 1/4 the amount of items I've sold just with blacksmithing. And that has to do, look at the average price of these items. If we look at the Bone Shatter items, look at the average price. There's not a single item on this list until we get to here. 5 days ago was the last sale I made for under 10,000 gold on Bone Shatter gear. Yeah, you compare that to Shadowgast gear, and it's on average considerably cheaper. Considerably cheaper. I mean, it's still in the 10 to 20k for a lot of these items, but a lot of these are going to be like rank 2s. But there are still like rank 1s selling for under 10k. 401 Shadowgast sold, 4.7 million total in my ledger. That's a lot more than I thought. Yeah, it mounts up very quickly. Shadowgast is including jewel crafting, sure. But if I go Shadowgast ring, that's only 60 items. And if I go Shadowgast neck, only 22. So less than 100 comes from jewel crafting. So even if we take the total, 860 minus the 100 that I can equate for jewel crafting, that's still 760 compared to like 100 or so. It's a massive difference. People are very, very definitely being put off by the high price. Now, unfortunately, I don't have tailoring, so I can't do a comparison of what is the absolute cheapest. If I'd have sold 3,000 tailoring items, for example, that trend would still be supported, that people are buying it because they're cheaper, and are more happy to buy it because they're cheaper. If you're going to do a male item, go for the shoulders first. It's the recommended slot other than the ring for marksman hunters first legendary. That spec is super popular right now. Interestingly, both marksman and beastmaster hunters want the shoulders. So yeah, considering male, you're selling it to either shamans or hunters. 50% of those want just one item, which is why I'm rank 4 in the Bone Shatter pauldrons, I think they're called, aren't they? It's kind of not fair to leather and mail users, to be honest. Clothies can get their rank 4 for like 10k. Trust me, the crafting cost alone on rank 4s, is almost 100k for male wearers right now. Crafting cost. It doesn't mean like what people end up putting it on the auction house for. But should we open the mailbox? I'll turn the music down just a touch more. I don't know how loud it is for you, but it's quite loud for me. Turn that down a little bit. Been making Shadowgast ingots since the stream started, still have 700 to go. Yeah, I'm spending a good hour or so a day crafting Shadowgast ingots right now, but luckily I'm still keeping the price of my Shadowgast ingots pretty low, roughly 50, between 50 and 60 gold each, which is making a big difference to my actual crafting cost of the plate stuff. High chance that Blizzard will change something with the hides. Yeah, it worries me for two. Well, if they do, it worries me. If they don't, it worries me. I don't think there's a good solution here. For example, if Blizzard decides to change the drop rate on Callous Hide, the problem is there's a couple of ways they could do it. They could either change the drop rate on Callous Hide, making the material far more available, which in turn will hopefully bring down its cost. A 333. Nice one, dude. Thank you. Appreciate it. No message. First million wouldn't have been possible without your help. Thank you. I appreciate it, my friend. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Once you've got your first million, the second, third, and fourth come really quickly. So, good luck with that one. Yeah, I'm worried for two reasons with the heavy Callous Hide. If they increase the drop rate, the cost of the materials could go down dramatically because they've increased the drop rate first and foremost. That worries me because those people that have spent literally in the millions, in some cases like over 10 million leveling up leatherworking, and may probably have a large inventory of items, the likelihood that they are then going to be able to make much of a return on that is not good at all. In fairness, that's the risk you take by having a large inventory of items. But yeah, I'm kind of worried what will happen if that's the case. But on the flip side, if Blizzard don't do something about it, in a week or two's time, there just could not be enough Callous Hide to even make these legendaries. I'm already seeing people on my server constantly asking in trade chat, is there somebody that can craft this rank 2 item? And it's anybody that's choosing something that's not the BIS legendary that everybody is actually crafting. It's a bit crazy. But yeah, I honestly think that in a couple of weeks' time, when all of the shamans and all of the hunters are like, Blizzard, I physically can't get these legendaries because nobody is able to craft them, that's when I think something might change. I think Blizzard will prioritise the casual masses over the crafting community. Oh, absolutely. In trade, people are going mad over leather or mail items. They get pissed off at me for telling me, yeah, the map. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people are like, I had somebody come up to me yesterday who wanted me to craft them a rank 4 ring because there's not many people on my server that can craft me a rank 4 ring. And he said, well, can you craft it for free because I've got the mats? And I'm like, no. And he was like, why not? I was like, well, no. I've got one on the auction house, buy that one if you want. Yeah, but I've got the mats. It's like, yeah, but it cost me multiple millions of gold to be able to craft that rank 4. I'm not going to do it for free. And that, unfortunately, will annoy people. And you imagine in a couple of weeks' time when hunters want their hunters or demon hunters or rogues or shamans or druids, when they all want their rank 4s, when they want their rank 4s and they are literally 100,000 gold on the auction house, and people are going to come up to you and like, they're going to come up to you with the materials and ask you to craft it, and you're going to tell them no. Like, it's going to annoy people. How much do you think is a fair crafting fee to ask for people? If it's rank 4, I don't craft it for people. I know that sounds harsh, but if it's rank 4, I'm not going to craft it for you. If I've made it and it's on the auction house, that's what you can buy. I'd probably lose a couple of sales like that, but at least on rank 4, the only reason I'm willing to do this, I know this sounds harsh, but the only reason I'm willing to do direct trade crafts for people is if I also still need the experience to rank up. That's when I'll do it. But if I'm already rank 4 and I'm able to craft all 4 ranks and I've got all 4 ranks listed on the auction house, I'm not going to do a direct craft for you. I mean, sure, if you turn around and offer me 100k to do it, then maybe I might think about it. But the point still stands, is like, I've leveled the profession, I've bought the materials, I've crafted the items, and I've listed them on the auction house. If you don't want to pay the premium that I'm asking, then don't buy it. Would you craft for guildies? Oh yeah, of course I would, but I'm not in a guild, so... If it was a mate or a guild member, then yeah, sure. Because that offering my service is helping everybody in general. Manthieus monopoly. I know it sounds kind of harsh. I know it does. But if somebody comes to me with a bunch of materials and they want me to craft a rank 4, I'm not going to do it. Do you usually buy the materials and just sell the legendary bases to level and profit off the auction house sale? Well, yeah, of course I do. That's crafting professions in a nutshell. I also refuse to sell legendaries under crafting costs now, and while things are definitely selling slower than before, at least the money is increasing, and I always have enough gold to craft more Legos. Yeah. This is one thing we gotta be aware of. If the materials are going to be rare, it's a seller's market. It's what's known as a seller's market, meaning that the person that has the materials, who has crafted the items and has that item for sale, has the advantage. The advantage they have is that they've put in the time and effort to do that. When the materials are super widely available, it becomes what's known as a buyer's market, where the buyer has the power of choosing, well, if I don't buy it from you, I can buy it from you because person B is selling it cheaper. That's not going to be the case when the materials are rare. And this is the advantage that people that have played through and ranked up their professions are going to have. Quite simply, the fact that they'll be able to say, right, well, I've got the ability to craft and sell rank 4s. There's only 2 or 3 other people on the entire server that can do that. If you want that rank 4, you have to buy it from me. And that's the advantage that the crafter then has. I mostly wanted to ask because I can't be bothered to farm the heavy callous hide at the moment, and I can enchant it myself, so I wanted to buy the materials. Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely no way I'd have done what is, since the beginning of Shadowlands, like nearly 17 million gold in sales. There's no way that would even be physically possible if I'd farmed all the materials myself. You have to be able to do this at scale, you have to buy the materials from the people that are willing to trade their time to go out and farm. And when there's enough people that trade their time to farm the materials, you can buy all of their materials from a whole bunch of people, then craft them and then sell them to whoever wants them. I guess crafting for free is the equivalent of going for a level boost and not paying gold and saying I hit the mobs too. Well, yeah, kinda. My cancel scan post game has gained me so many extra sales over my competition this weekend. What's really interesting is one thing I was talking about the other day was that the amount of competition you're going to get or see when you get to sort of rank 3s and rank 4s, you are literally competing against 2 or 3 people in most cases. And I've actually had, over the weekend, I had some pretty good conversations with the other people that are selling, to the point where I whispered one dude and said, do you want to do a reset on this one? He firstly knew exactly what I meant. He took the item off the auction house, we reset the price on it, and then between the two of us, we just casually undercut each other every 20 minutes for the rest of the day, but we both profited off that. You're going to find that there's 2 or 3 people that are selling rank 3s and rank 4s that you, when you do a cancel scan and you see the same names coming up every time, those are other like-minded people. They're not random Joes just trying to make a bunch of gold anymore. which means that you can quite easily talk to them, agree with them. I mean, you're not going to get them to whitelist each other, but you can make some sort of a, let's call it the crafter's code, of the if you're the only two people selling an item, why sell it near cost? Let's bump the price up 20 or 30,000 gold. That means when we do make sales, that we actually make some profit out of it. The competition has definitely petered off. I think that the people that wanted to make a quick bunch of gold, people saw what happened with Dark Moon cards. A lot of people probably made a lot of gold off Dark Moon cards, and those same people thought, well, hey, legendaries is going to be the same. I'm going to craft a bunch of legendaries just like I crafted a bunch of Dark Moon cards, and I'm going to sell a bunch of legendaries and make a bunch of gold off it. When in theory that sort of makes sense, but in practice that's not exactly how it worked out. And a lot of those people that had dumped a whole bunch of gold into a profession, whether it be leatherworking, tailoring, blacksmithing, whatever, a lot of those people that dumped a bunch of gold in to craft a bunch of items to just try and make that quick sale, now just aren't bothering, quite simply. You won't see 15 item walls on rank 4. Well, no, that's true. You'll never see that on rank 4 because you've got absolutely no incentive to do that. The only reason you see it on rank 1s, 2s and 3s is because people craft everything that they need to get to the next rank very quickly, and then have to then realise, I've actually got to sell all of these. And they assume that if they put 15 on the auction house at once, they're all going to sell, when that's not the case at all. Because it only takes one person to undercut you and then you don't make a sale. Think Blizzard will ever make an attempt to kill the cancel scans before making the market more fair to the masses? I don't think they can. I genuinely don't think they can, unless we've already had the auction house revamp. They did that in BFA. I don't think that they can, without drastically changing the way the auction house works. I mean, if they went to a different system, if they went to like a buy order sort of system that is used in other games, then maybe. But the way the auction house functions, there's not really. I mean, they already implemented throttling so that you can't cancel and relist hundreds of items. But if you only want to focus on one or two items, you can cancel and repost very, very fast, and you'll still never hit that threshold. The market would collapse if they tried to limit goblins. It's the economy that World of Warcraft has is actually very carefully studied by proper economists. And they use the World of Warcraft economy as an example to people learning economics, because it functions very not exactly the same, but it functions very similarly to what the real world does in a lot of respects. And it's the fact that people that go into it with the mindset of making more gold than they put into it actually help build that economy. And you've got the farmers, you've got the crafters, you've got the flippers, all these things are representative out in the real world as well. Do you think maybe have a listing price that scales more with the item price? Well, they sort of did that, and they sort of do have that. But it then just means, I don't think that would work though, because people would just boycott the auction house. If you post something, the problem with that is that it kind of already does, because although the listing price isn't representative of the item price itself, you got to remember the auction house takes a 5% cut of every sale. So you guys out there right now that are making, I've made 16.8 million gold in sales over the last Yeah, over the last 30 days, 16.8 million gold in sales. 5% of that has gone straight to Blizzard. 5% of 16 million, that's a lot of gold. So in a way, they kind of they don't take the price off when you list it. They take the price off when you sell it. Flippers in the real world are PS5 scalpers, and that's not going so good. Well, true, but unfortunately, there's no laws or rules and regulations against doing that in Warcraft, which makes it totally viable. What are your predictions on rank 3 and 4 sales for next week? Do you think there'll be a good profit or just a massive battle to make a few bits of gold? Huge profits. We'll see even more profits next week than we will do this week. And the week after we'll see even more profits again. Simply because whilst rank 3 unlocks next week, that doesn't mean that there won't be any demand for rank 2s or rank 1s. This is the luxury of the system. In the very first week, arguably rank 1s were the only thing in demand. Even though people were buying other stuff, people always buy everything. But in the first week, only rank 1s were in demand. But the problem being that there was so much competition because there was no barrier to entry, it became a buyer's market where a buyer could choose who and when to buy the item from and simply just get it for the best price, which in most cases was way under the crafting cost, because there was too many people trying to sell them. In week 2, we started to see, this week, week 2, we're starting to see, week 2 for legendaries, I should say, technically the third week, but you know. Week 2 for legendaries, we've now seen substantial profits on a lot of the stuff that we sell, because it's now switched to more being a seller's market. There's less people able to craft the items. There's still just as many people wanting to buy the items, which puts the crafters in a really good position. And that's going to be exaggerated again next week and exaggerated even further the week after that. What leatherworking legendaries do you think are preparing for rank 3s and 4s? I'm seeing shoulders for mail and legs for leather. Leather, I'm not too sure. I know full well I am drastically behind with leatherworking in general. But my biggest problem is even if I had all of the gold in the world, there's nothing I can do about it because there's just not enough callous hide. To put it simply. Did you do any skinning today? No idea if I'm lucky or drop chance for heavy callous hide. I'm now about 10 kills for every heavy hide. I've not done any crafting today, no. It's very unlikely that they would stealth in a hotfix on a Sunday night though. I think you've just been really lucky. I'm still fighting Mr. Hero, who crafts for fun on my server. Lego leather legs at exact cost, all ranks. Trust me, his desire to craft for fun will fizzle out. It'll fizzle out. Nobody can be a hero for that long. Yeah, the drop chance for heavy callous hide seems to be higher. I've not done any skinning today. I can't say for definite. But trust me, if that is the case, you'll find about 12 YouTube videos on it later. So. Mythic opens next week. Raiders that try hard will make rank 3s. They might buy them, true. I don't think they're going to make them. Do you think callous hide will spike in the next few days? The the pattern tends to be that Wednesday every week is just bonkers crazy for sales. And what you usually find is on that day, because sales are so high, the amount of people buying the materials is also very high, meaning the price on the materials spikes because there's a huge spike in demand, and it just gets bought out, quite simply. But whether that be the case or not this week, it's all speculative. What's your view that in 2 weeks we can buy epic items for 100 anima each? It'll completely remove the eternal crystal price I'm planning to swap away from enchanting. Well, there's already basically unlimited amount of eternal crystals. In terms of the fact that Mythic Plus and the Raid both drop epic items. Mythic Plus especially is repeatable content. You can theoretically run Mythic Plus all day if you want. And that in turn will generate you a reasonably large amount of materials. Now, of course, the amount of epics in general that are dropping is a lot less. But those two sources alone have definitely had an effect on the crystals. I said about 20 minutes ago we were going to open the mailbox though, and I haven't done it yet. So here we go. 81 items showing 1.2 million gold in sales yesterday, which is not bad considering I didn't really actually play that heavily yesterday. I'll happily take 1.2 million gold in sales. What I do need to do is actually clean the auction house. In fact, we've got 20 minutes and then basically everything expires. Maybe we just run through and cancel a whole bunch of this. We'll open the mailbox once I've got everything relisted. Then we'll just be able to see the gold in itself. There's a 3% cut for your viewers. This is not some sort of pyramid scheme. Let's put. I just realised I got big camera mode still. We can keep big camera mode for a while. It's fine. Let me go. That one. Setting up TSM to handle the various LEGO ranks has really helped my efficiency. Yeah, just be super careful with using Trade Skill Master for selling. It's so easy to make a typo and to not be able to easily spot it, and to end up selling things for way less than what it cost you to craft it. So just genuinely be really careful. Don't forget about your guild bank cut. Yes. 10% of every time I loot the mailbox goes straight into the guild bank. I started that theory a few days ago, and it's already paying off pretty nicely. Guild bank is now up to 431,000 gold since I started this process, which in turn means that that's 4.3 million I've looted from the mailbox, surely. In what, like 3 days ago I started this. Just every time I open the mailbox, empty the mailbox, 10% goes in the guild bank. So 3 days ago I started this, and that's already 4.3 million gold worth of sales to build this stockpile up. Mr. Beer Bloom, thank you for the sub. Welcome. There's a lot here. Either I wait for all of these to expire, or I have to press the cancel button on them. Are male braces item level 210 selling for you? Male braces. Male braces at 210. I'm not even sure if I've got them. I can't remember exactly everything that I've got. Part of my money I get from auctions goes into my guild bank. No. That's something I'm manually choosing to do myself. Every time I loot my mail, like I basically will, unless I absolutely have to, I'll only loot my mailbox for gold once a day in the morning, just so it's a visual aid to how much I made the day before. And I'm basically just taking 10% of whatever that is and putting it in the guild bank, just as a consider it a savings account kind of thing. Basically, I should be making at least 10% profit on everything that I sell, meaning that if I take that 10% off the top, it's I can very quickly and easily. It basically means I'm reinvesting virtually 100%. That's what I'm getting at. Oh, I'm getting cancel throttled. Cancel throttled. Let's give it a second. Blizzard changed the percentage on heavy callous hides, I might go broke. I've now in bank a lot of legendaries rank 3 for next reset. But this is the problem. This is why stockpiling anything is always very dangerous, because you got to remember, this is a game, and at the push of a button, Blizzard can completely change the way that something works, which is the fundamental reason why I never recommend people to invest any more than what they're willing to lose. Not because of anything that they do affecting their potential outcome, but simply the fact that Blizzard could change something their side and it could completely mess with your investment. You'll find as time goes on, if you enjoy making gold, you'll see a pattern happen. Every 10 times you make an investment, 9 of them eventually will probably pay off nicely for you, but you'll then have one that completely goes backwards. And yeah, it's the one that usually goes wrong is usually the one where Blizzard comes in and makes a dramatic change to something. Right, our bags are full. Let's get this back up on the auction house. Before I post everything, I want to just very quickly check what the material prices are doing. If the material prices have spiked, I will. Why is Unbrahide Helm in that list? It appears that heavy callous hide has not spiked anything since yesterday, but it's still expensive, and there's still not a lot of them. What about callous hide? Oh, now there's some good numbers of these starting to appear. Now it's not cheap, mind, it's a little bit more expensive than it has been normally, but like I said, there seems to be a lot less people farming. And interestingly, there seems to be a cluster of materials under 170 apiece. And then past that, there's really not much of anything. If you look at 175 onwards, there's maybe 100, 200 listings. So the cluster of materials is actually right at the beginning here. I will probably buy most of these materials in a minute. Probably. What's Elysium doing? Oh, now this is going to make a big change to how much I list my blacksmithing stuff for now. Damn! Not only is Elysium ore not really readily available, it's also maintaining quite an expensive price. this in some case, in fact, there's, how much would it cost me to buy just even 1,000 lithium ore right now? 130 gold a piece average. Ouch. That's, as far as my server's concerned, that is expensive right now. That's going to influence how much I post stuff for. So let's go lithium ore. Because up until now, I've reasonably been able to get a lithium ore at like 105 gold a piece. So I'm going to have to go as far as 130 gold a piece on that one. Meaning my enchanted bars is going to go up to, what's that, 260 minimum? Maybe 270 by the time you add a piece of dust to it. That's a 50 gold per bar price hike. That's going to affect my listing price pretty dramatically. Let me check Callous Hide as well for now. 1,800 gold a piece I've got it set to currently, and I can comfortably buy them for under that right now, so that's fine. That's fine. It's just blacksmithing's expensive today. Let's do a reload so those numbers definitely save. Press the reload button, nothing happened. Please don't crash on me. There we go. Had an undercut war for 2 days whilst making Christmas cards, and the other dude gave up and bought me out via /W. Oh, nice. Prices on your realm are lower than on my full pop. Legendaries are probably selling for more too. I have no idea what the ratio between them is. All I know is that I'm able to sell my legendaries, at least most of them, at a profit now. I reset lithium bar to 900 gold from 288. Let's see how long that stays before Tuesday. That's a pretty hefty reset. Right, now we should be able to post a whole bunch of stuff. Post what we have in stock at the very least. Plate Legos, Drawn Crafting Legos, base Legos. Go. You'll see a lot of below minimum price posting at minimums. You'll see this a lot. But for now, I'm happy to let that be the case. Once I've made enough gold, I'll let out my frustration with all the undercutters by advertising to craft rank 4s for free in trade. That's a really good way to get yourself blacklisted from any content. just saying. But yeah, sure. I mean, in relative terms, the amount of gold I'm making from things like enchants and gems right now, I've almost just stopped trying to sell enchants and gems because it just my entire auction house limitation is being taken up by legendaries right now. And well, while I might be able to sell the odd enchant for the fact I'm not even trying to be competitive on the crystal price, and that theoretically is where the money is made with enchanting. No Monday reading of Samadan's economy post. Oh, it's coming. Oh, it's coming. That's on the schedule. I just wanted to get the auctions in place so that it's all doing its thing, and once that's rocking and rolling, then we'll get onto it. Just get those up on the auction house, just in the way. few expireds coming through. Aha, a few expireds coming through, and that's it. Okay. So that's left just the 1.2 million of sales from yesterday. Nice. Who be this? Zyru, thanks for the morning coffee club member. Shout out, my man. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Welcome, welcome. Any dark moon crafting? I've not been doing any dark moon crafting now. Let's take a quick gander at what this has actually been. What did we actually sell yesterday? And as you can see, this is all just literally all yesterday's sales. You'll notice that the majority begins with the word Shadowgast. And this really emphasizes what we were talking about earlier, that Shadowgast sales is literally 75% of what's selling right now. Maybe even more. I mean, there's a few hero sales. There's a Bone Shatter Pauldrons at 142k. That, I believe, was the rank 4. Appreciate that you openly share your knowledge, even though it means letting a lot of others in on the secret. Yeah, I genuinely don't mind. Between EU and NA, there are so many different servers. The likelihood of it directly affecting me is very, very slim. Although I do get a couple of whispers a day right now from people saying hi, and they're starting to recognise me on the server. I was out doing some world quests on my main character the other day, and somebody said hi. So I'm guessing that it may be slightly affecting my sales, but if I can still pull 1.2 million gold on a Sunday without really trying, I'm more than happy to share my knowledge. It's fine. But yeah, there's the odd splattering of Bone Shatter Pauldrons everywhere. 1, 2, 3, 4 just in this cluster here. The most part Shadowgast, a lot of gauntlets, they seem to sell really well. Greaves, obviously, Shadowgast Greaves, top seller by far. More Bone Shatter Pauldrons. Umbra Hide, I saw something there. Umbra Hide gauntlets for 25k. More Bone Shatter Pauldrons. A hell of a lot of Shadowgast stuff. A random stray enchant. A Shadowgast ring. We've actually I mean, while jewel crafting was very much in the bin for a good week or so, jewel crafting is slowly but surely starting to come back into play. The main reason behind this, I think, is that those that were frantically prospecting Leystrite ore have kind of stopped doing it. The huge cluster of spare materials that people had, I think, is maybe starting to dry up. I'm starting to see less essences being listed on the auction house. So by my logic, that tends to leave me to believe that people are actually now choosing to buy the essences rather than prospect the ore. And there needs to be a fine balance between, well, is it worth me just buying the materials, or is it worth me prospecting? Hello? Ooh! Ooh! It's sushi time! Hang on, be right back. How we doing? Lunch arrived, so we'll talk and eat at the same time. I can't remember where I was getting at. I've now put my microphone right in front of my chat, so I can't see what any of you guys are saying. Are you giving me a dog and a dog bed? Okay, thanks. Same, I'm on 3 realms with Dawn crafting and less essences on the auction house than before. Can't craft rings on 2 realms already though, not worth it at the moment. It's yeah, I think the huge excess of materials that people had from the first week or so, firstly from just trying to level Dawn crafting, secondly from people mass prospecting very early days because they wanted as many gems as they could get hold of for crafting like basic rings and stuff. All of those spare essences seem to have slowly but surely been sort of utilised by this point, it feels. And I think we're starting to get to a point where when people want to recraft their rings and necklaces, they are having to choose more wisely how to get the essences. So it's kind of balancing the market slightly. I'm not saying it's fixed. I'm definitely not saying Dawn crafting is fixed, but it is slightly better than it was previously. Essences have been dropping so much, people reset them every 6 hours. The problem is like I said, this is going to be very server dependent, even more so than a lot of things. If there are a few people that have thousands of essences in their bags, the likelihood is going to be that the price is going to get trashed. Because arguably the demand for essences is not that great. There's quite simply a limit to how many rings and necks you can possibly sell, especially how many necks you can sell. The rings seem to be doing all right. It's not a crazy seller, but they're doing all right. Anyway, let's click the loot button. What was it? 1.2 million. We need to go put 120,000 gold in the guild bank then, before we forget, before we accidentally spend it, more likely. That was yesterday. Now we can start afresh today. Deposit 120,000. Go. Boom. And we can run our very first, for the day, cancel scan. If only the necklace was of any use, so the essence used was balanced. Yeah, this is also an issue, that if you want to go if you want to go ham on prospecting, that your results are going to vary massively. Because if you can utilize those essences and you can sell the necks in even half as much of a quantity as you can the rings, you will probably actually be able to make a reasonable profit with Dawn crafting right now. But the issue is that the real trick with Dawn crafting is just using all of the materials you get when prospecting. If you can master that side of it, you'll be alright. As someone with no professions and needing gold before raiding on Thursday, what would you suggest? Skinning. Pick up skinning, go kill things. If you're a raider, I would assume that your gear is not terrible. Pick up skinning, go kill things, post the heavy callous hides for ludicrous amounts on the auction house, and you'll be absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Should I spend 320k on the fairy transmog? You do you. You do you. No way I'm spending 320k on a fairy transmog. We need to do a restock as well though. To do a restock on material on legendaries, we probably are going to need to buy a lot of that heavy callous hide. It worries me just how much I'm going to have to spend on it, and it's kind of frustrating. It's really difficult to actually make a good amount of gold with leatherworking right now. I know that sounds mad with what we've just seen, but the materials cost. I'm still every single day spending hugely more gold on the materials for leatherworking, yet it's blacksmithing right now which is actually turning probably most profit. It's really quite annoying. But yeah, boo-hoo, Mr. Streamer's making lots of gold but not making enough gold. Yeah, I hear you. I can't not loot all from the mailbox. It's my money and I want it now. Hurts to sit on it. I shouldn't feel this way at 16 million. It's the 50k mindset. Yeah, very true. Why is blacksmithing making the money? Just constant sales. 4 times as many sales for blacksmithing as leatherworking combined. Arguably because people are quite happy to spend 5 to 10k on a legendary item. As has just been proven there. Shadowgas Greaves. Oh, well, in fairness, that was a rank 4, but you get my point. People are way more comfortable spending 10, 20k on getting the legendary they want. People are a lot more against having to spend 40, 50, 60k to get the legendary that they want, which is having a direct impact on the amount of sales that I'm making with leatherworking compared to blacksmithing. Got blacksmithing on 3 realms, can't keep up with everything. Right now I'm going by, I try to keep 2 of everything in stock. If I can craft it, I try to keep 2 in stock. On certain blacksmithing items, at certain ranks, that is proving very difficult to do. To the point where, with the Shadowgas Greaves, I'm almost considering just making 10 of them at a time, because I know that day I will probably sell them easily. But I'm also being very cautious that, especially with leatherworking, of the, I don't want, this is, you may see in my bags right now, there's a lot of spare plate gear. You eating sushi? Yeah, I am. There's a lot of plate gear spare. Now, I'm actively choosing to not do that with leatherworking, simply because if I drop 500,000 gold into powering up from one rank to another in a certain slot with leatherworking, and tomorrow Blizzard makes a change to heavy callous hide, I'm going to lose the majority of that gold. And that's not something I'm willing to do. Whereas you can see I've got, that's maybe like 10 190 breastplates in my bags. I don't know how many it is. A lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's literally 10 right there. That I'm kind of alright doing, because 10 breastplates, I think the average cost of making one of those was maybe 5k a piece. Alright, a little bit more now. But I've upped my prices on blacksmithing, so yeah, easily 5k a piece. But that's still only 50k. So if something changes, I've only lost 50k. You know, it's way less of a risk. This is why I'm still massively behind on leatherworking. Keeping a spare 1 mil on another toon just in case leatherworking goes bellies up, but spending everything else on callous hide. The last couple of days, I think I've probably spent, it must be close to 1 million gold a day on callous hide. Must be close to 1 million gold a day. Which, it, like, when you think about it, if you think about it compared to literally 4 weeks ago, at the end of BFA, there was nobody that was spending 1 million gold on anything, even in a week. Never mind in a day. Skinners right now, if you spend a few hours skinning, you are raking it in, because all of this gold is going straight to the farmers. TSM Ledger has me at 12 mil just on callous hide. That doesn't surprise me at all. Well, it must have been almost a week ago now that even Hickons was saying that he'd spent over 10 million gold on callous hide and wasn't even close to rank 4s, like, across the board. Wasn't even close. But by my calculation, like, right now, at current prices on my server, if you wanted to start blacksmithing today, even if all the materials were available, even if you could buy unlimited materials at the market price, it would still cost you something like 26 million gold to max out leatherworking right now. Crazy. I swear I've never had that much gold. It's turnover. Turnover, man. Like, you create, you craft something, you sell something. You take the money you made from selling that something and then you buy the materials to craft it again. And it's rinse and repeat. And the more times you can do that, every time that you do a rotation, you make more than you put in. And the more times you can do that rotation, the quicker you make gold. And it's a very simple business strategy in general. It's the Walmart approach, isn't it, really? Walmart don't make a lot of money on anything that they sell, but they sell a lot of stuff very quickly. Basically meaning that when you make a small amount many times and you can do it fast, that small amount adds up to a lot very quickly. And then on the other end of the scale, you have the, like, I don't know, like the Bentley approach. You make 1 or 2 cars, you sell 1 or 2 cars a month, but you make $1 million on every car that you sell, then you still made a lot of money, you know? At the moment, the legendaries are kind of a mix between the two. They're crazy expensive, and we can stack them high and sell them cheap. We can kind of do the best of both worlds. That's why people are opening 5 million from their mailbox, like, every other day. Bentley will be our rank 4s. Don't bring us a steel bar and a tyre and tell us to craft for free. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. You want me to craft a rank 4, you're going to have to pay me incredibly handsomely to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to craft it and put it on the auction house and you can choose to buy it or not. Legendaries are Walmart at rank 1, but then morph into Bentleys at rank 3. Kinda. Pretty much. How can I look at total heavy callous hide expense? Well, if you use TSM, the easiest way to do is just do the /TSM, go to your ledger, and then expenses, and just search by callous. And then that will show you all of your expenditure on callous hide, heavy callous hide, and enchanted heavy callous hide, depending on what it is you buy. So there, for example, I've spent over 6 million gold just on callous hide. And the lion's share of that is probably in the last few days. I reckon in the last week I've spent just as much on callous hide as I did the entire first few weeks. Rarely, I mean even 2 weeks ago though. But look at the difference in price. Like, heavy callous hide, I used to be able, like in the first week or so of the game, I used to pick up heavy callous hide at about 1,000 gold each. Like, in quantity as well. 1,000 gold a piece. And even then I thought that was really expensive. Little did I know that price has been steadily increasing to the point where it is now. In the last 3 days, my average price on heavy callous hide has probably been 1,500 gold. And even now I'm considering spending up to 1,700 gold on each one. You expect materials to go down in price. Heavy callous hide, it's going up in price. And this is quite literally supply and demand. If I choose to not buy it at 1,700 gold, the result of that is that I just don't have any to recraft and restock my legendaries. So, yeah, I either don't buy it and somebody else does. This is why it's a seller's market, and this is why the price goes up. It's either I buy the materials and craft with them and then sell the legendaries, or somebody else buys the materials and crafts them and sells the legendaries. I don't have the option of waiting for the hide to be cheap or at the right price for me. I just have to buy it when it's there. And it's meant that my actual cost has gone up steadily over the last week or so. And if Blizzard don't change anything, I genuinely think that the price is just going to keep going up. On my realm, Silk has stayed higher for a few days now. Any reason you can think about it? Well, Blizzard started to nerf. Combination of Blizzard nerfing some of the popular 2x4 farming spots has not dried out the supply of Silk, but it's at the very least slowed it down. On top of that, we had the vendor shuffle nerf, which in turn meant that those people who were out farming were able to then sell their cloth and their leather for considerably less, giving them less reason to do it in the first place. On top of that, we've also seen an increased demand for higher rank legendaries, of which all require more materials. So the demand for the materials is in theory gone up when the supply has gone down. And then you add on top of that the fact that the Raid and Mythic Plus has come out, meaning that most of the people that were doing the farming in the first place are now not doing the farming anymore, meaning that the price of these legendary materials is steadily across the board increasing on probably all but the largest of large servers. But the largest of large servers are usually aware of the fact that weird things happen there. I don't think drop rates have been changed at all. There's just quite simply less people farming it. Right, one piece of sushi to go and then we're done. And then we can check Samadan's weekly economy report, because I have a sneaky feeling that I might have been featured in it again. I've spent 11 million plus so far on Heavy Callous Hide and still haven't got to rank 4. I've spent over 6 million and most of mine are still rank 1. I still haven't got rank 2 across the board yet, and I've spent 6 million. I'd probably have to spend somewhere in the region of 20-25 million before I get rank 3s all across the board at this rate. Guess I missed the train to power level tailoring. Whilst for the first week or so, tailoring was completely in the bin. Like, people were selling off their rank 1 legendaries for literally like tens of gold. The outcome of that is those that did power level tailoring to rank 4 across the board, I'm in a really good position now. It's another slight regret. I don't regret most things in this game because I still can make millions of gold, but it's a slight regret that I didn't get my mage level to 60 and didn't pick up tailoring when it was just like in the dirt level cheap. Mainly because to do it now is probably going to cost me twice as much as what it could have done. They were selling chest pieces for 500 gold a piece. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have been more specific to people when people were reporting that people were selling tailoring items for way less than even the arboreal shard cost. My response every time was buy them out, buy all of them. And for the one simple reason of that you cannot physically create it for the price that people were selling it for. There will come a time where you will sell that item for more than you bought it for. It's a guaranteed. You literally cannot lose. Should have taken the 1,000 rank 1s under 500 gold and turn it into 5 to 10x now. But also got PTSD from 180 rank 1 necks. Yeah. Well, this is the thing. This is why an Obamanizer, it's quite apparent that you're easily one of the richest in chat right now. That just proves a point, doesn't it? That sometimes, even when you've got a lot of experience in doing this, sometimes your investments pay off, and sometimes they don't. I also have a lot of rank 1 neck pieces in my guild bank still. Not 180 of them, but I have a lot of them, of which I bought most of them, I think, at about 6k a piece. Now, I will sell them eventually for a profit, but the issue is that it tied up a reasonable amount of my actual liquid gold at the time, and I kind of wish it didn't. Right, I've finished eating. I need to go get a drink though. Give me 2 minutes, guys. I'm going to go get a drink, and then, and only then, will we go through this. So yeah, give me 2 minutes. Smash that like button, boys and girls. Smash that like. There's nearly 200 people here again. Wow. Good to see you all. Back in 2. Reset Shadowghast breastplates. Took me 2 sales to make back the investment. Bond again for now because people are so desperate to unload it. But I'm sat now on free stock and you'll sell it eventually. Yeah. This is why sometimes when you buy things in bulk, if you buy things in bulk, as long as you make your initial investment back, you can do things like that. For example, before we quickly get into this, there's a whole bunch, where are they? In my bank somewhere, if my bank stops running away. I've got a whole bunch of missives of Critical Strike, which I bought these for, what did I buy them for? I bought them for an average of just over 1,000 gold a piece. The problem is on the auction house the last couple of days, they were like literally 800 gold a piece, but I was still selling them. And you think that, well, why are you selling them under the price that you paid for them? Well, the reality is that for the first few days of selling these, I was doubling my gold on every one I sold. So I actually, these are technically the ones that were just kind of, these are almost free now. I've made the gold back on selling a whole bunch of them quickly initially, and these are just the spare ones. So anything I get for these now is a bonus. And that is also something that's really hard to consider and appreciate when you look at the prices of things on the auction house. When you see people selling something under cost, you don't know what their cost actually was. They might have bought 20 of them super cheap, have already sold 3 of them for super expensive, and now have 17 left that they just want to get rid of. And it's those 17 that they just get rid of which is their profit. But yeah, auction house economy 101. Quick cancel scan because the sales are pretty slow. But I imagine the sales will be pretty slow because I'm not actually doing anything. This dude, for example, the one that's undercut me like on a million things right here, I had a really good conversation with this guy the other day, and he was one of the people where I just messaged him and was like, can we do a reset on this item at this rank? And he was like, yeah, cool. Cancelled his auctions. We both then relisted them for like 10x the price and did pretty well off it. Just misclicked on a 240k rank 4 pants instead of the 750 rank 1 I wanted to buy out. Half my capital gone. Ooh, that definitely is an F. That's a big fat oof. I've not even done my restock yet, have I? I've not even bought the materials. I'm not going to leave the auction house this stream, am I, this way? Right, okay, well, let's leave that churning in the background. Before I go too far, I will, if nothing else, I'll look at buying some materials. This lot can wait, and I'm not super keen on spending 130 gold on each one of those. Yet I literally have none of it, so I might have to. Callus hide. 158, that's like 6. Okay, let's buy out that lot up to 160. That's 1,600 gold per heavy, and that's 200 heavies. 300k, that'll do for now. That'll do for now. That'll at the very least allow me to do a bit of recrafting, I'd imagine, without spending too much over what I probably should do. I'd have to spend another 43 gold a piece on each one. Yeah, I'll let the price of this just float back down. Weird thing right now is I've got item level 151 crafted shoulders selling for as much as the legendaries. Hey, if it sells, it sells. Right. Weekly economy wrap up number 155. Goal making for raid release Mythic Plus, Mythic Plus Plus, and PvP Season 1. So, we check this out every Monday. Usually every Monday, assuming that Samadan actually posts it on the Sunday night like he usually does. But this, yes, is wrote up once a week by our good friend Samadan. You should check him out over on either his YouTube channel or he live streams over on Twitch. He does tend to cover the article himself on his live stream shortly after he posts it. I tend to cover it on the Monday morning because, you know, different times. But let's have a look. Let's see what's going on. Welcome to week 3 of Shadowlands. Yes, indeed. Big changes this week. An incredibly important week for many players with the release of the Raid and the Mythic Plus season and Season 1 of PvP. For goal making especially, we're seeing a spike in demand finally for enchanting. True, enchants are actually kind of useful nowadays. We're also seeing alchemy have some profitability, and of course cooking is starting to make a big buzz, especially some of the meat, and I think it goes on to focus. One example being the ribs. You can see raid release. Average market price of the ribs was sort of 40 odd gold a piece. Then the raid comes out and boom, 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 boom. The actual quantity comes down. The market price goes up. All of a sudden, people are actively out in the world farming the ribs that they've got that expensive. The ribs, what is it? There's two, isn't there? There's ribs and I want to say the creepy crawly meat. I can't remember what it is. But if you kill a bunch of spiders, you usually get the creepy crawly meat, I think. That is another one that seems to be more difficult to farm, and arguably the more difficult something is to farm, the higher the price, as we probably all are very aware of. Let's go big cam for this. As we're all very aware of with heavy callus hide, for example. Sam, thanks for the sub. Welcome. Hope you're enjoying. So, the price has doubled and the quantity is halved as people start using the food to be able to beat this harder content. Interestingly, I've still not leveled cooking. Creepy crawly meat. I don't know what it's called. I can't remember exactly what it's called. Something like creepy crawly meat. Creepy crawler meat, maybe? I don't know. Whatever. But there's a couple of bits of food. The ribs are the main one, though. The ribs are the main one. So another item that's holding strong is the Eternal Crystals. We were contemplating what the Eternal Crystals were going to do, as they're used in the higher end enchants, such as the Sinful Revelation, which is a big creeping crawler meat. Creeping crawler meat, not creepy crawler meat. Whatever. Creepy crawly, creeping crawler. It's the same thing. It's all bloody spiders. But yeah, the Sinful Revelation weapon enchant is pretty popular. And the fact that there are just so few epic items to disenchant at this point still, it's keeping the price of the Eternal Crystals pretty high. Yet what we have started to see is, because of a greater... this is actually a really interesting trend to see. Really interesting to see that the market, the quantity available and the market price have tended to go down. There will come a point where this won't necessarily be the case. Usually you find the quantity, when the market price goes down, it's usually because the quantity available goes up. But it's it's interesting to see the fact that the market price and the quantity available is both declining. That's an odd one. Something's going to have to snap at some point. Something's going to snap at some point. When the market price, the quantity available gets too low, what tends to happen is that all that is remaining gets bought out, and then the market price will spike up again. That may happen Wednesday. We may see. Next reset, that could be an interesting one. That's one to keep our eyes on. If this trend continues of both the quantity and the market price declining, it's going to be interesting. Overall, we're seeing much greater activity in players buying items on the auction house as they prepare for harder content and seek every advantage possible. What a great time to be a goal maker. Can't agree more so. Can't agree more so. The fact that a lot of virtually every item now is in demand in some aspect. Leveling gear is really the only thing that's slightly on a decline now, but now the fact that people are getting their rep in the Maw done and dusted with Venari, she's selling them the Crafter's Mark rank 2. People are creating 168 gear, which is already introducing a nice little cheeky catch-up system for players that, for their alts, for example, their alt dings 60, they can go straight to the auction house, and at the moment, in fairness, for a reasonable amount of gold, they can jump straight to almost 170 item level, which is basically heroic dungeon level, meaning they can step straight into their mythic pluses, straight into the raid. Interestingly, one thing that we worked out the other day was that the item level requirement to get into LFR is going to be 170, which means if you stack yourself out in 168 gear, plus you do a few Torghast runs and get your legendary sorted, you can, and you buy a Dark Moon trinket, you can then pretty easily hit the 170 threshold to be able to get into LFR, which I know for a lot of people you'll go LFR, but the point is, for a huge percentage of the player base, that's going to be their first look at the raid. So it will have an effect, I assure you of that. And don't laugh at my silly impression of LFRs. Right, next thing then, the cost of crafting legendaries. My favourite market. One particular market that's seen a huge pre-expansion speculation and investment is the whole crafting of the legendary base items. Many people in search of huge gold opportunities invested heavily in the markets, getting to rank 4 as soon as possible, whilst although the higher ranks can't even been used yet due to the limit on Soul Ash. It appears that Samadan is probably pulled in, I want to say, arguably some comments off Twitter maybe, off Reddit even, sorry. People are rushing ahead to craft these high ranks because they've been told that they'll make huge gold off them. That's what many are banking on, and that's why they're selling low ranks for below the material cost right now. Here's how this ends though. People see these ranks 3s, 4s on the auction house for hundreds of thousands and they go, I can make tons of money on that. And they add to the pile of people racing to rank 4. By the time the market even exists on rank 4, it will be flooded with people desperate to recover their millions they sunk into reaching it. This is another situation of this person, no shade on who Mobile Shrine Bear is. This person is somebody that's looking from the outside in. This doesn't sound like the opinion of somebody that has actually got rank 4 crafts. This sounds like somebody that is of the opinion that they could make lots of money from that and are slightly believing something that, yeah, this is an outsider looking in perspective. This is what this person would like to think is the case. It's not necessarily actually the way that it works. The logic is there, true, but unfortunately a lot of people aren't logical when they play the game. Meaning that in reality, yes, this was probably the case in the very first week or so, but now the market is very different to how it was just 7 days ago. Simply because all of these people that did decide to try and make money on it are now just not bothering anymore. They've realised that, oh, actually, no, I can't, and they've peaced out. They're done. They're not the people that are constantly undercutting. If you've got rank 2s, rank 3s and rank 4s listed on the auction house right now, I virtually guarantee it's the same 4 or 5 people, same names that you'll see every time you run a cancel scan. There's very few people that have the higher ranks in comparison to who was selling the rank 1s. Next we have, I think the rank 1s through to 3s are all going to be unprofitable or at best break even. The reason people are willing to sell their items for less is because they feel like they're working towards something that will make up for the losses. It's kind of similar to the mentality of leveling a profession. People understand that leveling is unprofitable, but they do it with the hopes that once they reach the full level in their profession, it will be worth it. Those numbers are crazy though. I have everything leveled to rank 3 and the amount of gold that I've had to invest is daunting. Right now I have 15 of every rank 2 item in my guild bank, something like 10 million gold liquid tied up in these assets. Ouch. I mean, I can smell the salt. There's two very different opinions here straight away. Somebody now says, I think rank 1s through till 3 are all going to be unprofitable or break even. Yet they then go to say that they've sunk 10 million gold into the system. It doesn't add up, right? This sounds like somebody that dumped 10 million gold into the system and expected to see 20 million gold come out of the system very quickly. And they've realised that actually that 10 million gold that they spent early days is not going to get back in their pockets very quickly. This sounds like, again, somebody that was in it for the quick buck, but the difference here is that they had deep pockets to begin with. And the reason they think all rank 3s are going to be unprofitable is probably because they put 15 on the auction house and they didn't sell 15. Impatience. People need to be patient with the system. And the reason I think this is very salty is because they've spent 10 million gold and they're having huge difficulties selling their items because they post them once a day and expect all 15 to sell. This is why you've just got to be careful. That this person sounds very that they have strong feelings about that 10 million gold that is tied up, and they really wish that it wasn't. So, yeah, I can't say I totally agree with either of these statements, if I'm honest. One of them comes from somebody that is blatantly an outsider looking in. And the other one is from somebody that invested way too heavily and was in it to make a whole bunch of gold really quickly, considered it to be Dark Moon Cards 2.0, and has realised that this is a long game system. This is not a short-term win. Threes might be unprofitable now, but the supply of ones and twos grows thinner and they're probably profitable again. Possibly the case. This person, that if they've got 10 million gold liquid tied up in leatherworking items, and they set, if what they claim is true, that they have 15 of every rank 2 item in the guild bank, they should have made a whole bunch of gold this week, because rank 2s are just flying off the shelves. Not only that, but rank 2s, at least in leatherworking, are considerably more expensive to craft now than they were a week ago. So this person should be, in theory, in a really good position right now. The problem is they're not willing to put in the time and effort to make that gold work. They wanted to make 20 million gold in the first week, and when they didn't, they've just dumped it all in a guild bank and called it quits. So, ouch. One of Hickons' tweets. This is the one I was referring to. I've referred to a few times this week, actually. It's nice to see that Samadan highlighted it. Whoever designed Shadowlands Professions is trolling. 10.3 million gold spent on Callous Hide and still don't have all of the leatherworking rank 4s. Yeah. So Hickons himself has spent over 10 million gold on Heavy Callous Hide. And you can see, actually, interestingly, his prices are in the middle of what mine have been. This was posted a few days ago. This was posted on December the 8th. We're now on the 14th, so this is almost a week later. I would imagine Hickons' price for his Heavy Callous Hide is probably gone up, and I would imagine his expenditure is probably doubled now. I'd imagine he's probably closer to 20 million gold invested in this, but he probably is now at a point where he's got mostly rank 3s and 4s, I would guess. But yeah, it's ridiculous the amount of gold that people are having to spend to get to go the distance in these professions right now. This is good to see. People are still buying them. Don't knock it until you've tried it. This was back on December 8th again, but this showed the Umberhide Pauldrons. He had some crazy say on just Umberhide gear. He sold 163 items and made over 6 million gold in revenue from doing it. Now, Goat, thanks for the sub. Welcome. Nice name. I'm very aware that the percentage of my sales that come from leatherworking right now is quite low. And I know that is because I'm behind the curve. I've not got many above rank 2. I've not even got half of them at rank 2 yet even. But the biggest bottleneck for me is quite simply the amount of Heavy Callous Hide I can physically buy. Two reasons. One, my liquid gold is not great. And two, even if I did have lots of liquid gold, it's very difficult right now for me to buy in any decent quantity on a regular basis. So I'm just sort of bottlenecked on materials right now. But we'll see how that plays out. I thought I featured in this at some point. And Samadan's also put down there that I've gone into further speculating on the legendary base item with my TED Talk style video. This was actually, I kind of cheated with this. This was kind of just ripped straight off the stream. But it was something we went through in a lot of detail the other day about how week 1, week 2, week 3 and week 4 of the legendary crafting system is likely to play out. And at least so far my predictions have been pretty much spot on. But if you've not seen that video, check it out on the channel. It's one of my more recent videos. It's a bit of a longer video. It's about 45 minutes long, but it's well worth watching it through to the end if you haven't already. Especially if you're into legendaries. But yeah, we don't need to focus on that too much. Leatherworking rank 2 and 3 is where the money comes from. I'm pretty sure this is the case. I almost need to just spend 500k in each slot, get each slot to at least rank 2, preferably even rank 3. We're almost at the point where I could do with having rank 3s across the board. I know I'm behind the curve, and when you're behind the curve, it is even more costly to catch up. The complete group farming guide for Shadowlands. El Goblino Guides has posted a great guide talking about how group farming and how to get into it. So this is more for the farmers out there. It's how to effectively, by the looks of things, set up 2x4. 2x4 means 2 groups of 4 people. Balanced druids are the overlords of group farming. Brewmaster monks are also pretty sought after, simply because of their statue, drawing everything in. Doesn't mean that other classes are useless, just that you can never beat the best balanced druids in terms of efficiency. They've got long range, instant cast spells, and they've got pretty good AoE, which is just a really good combination. The passive damage you deal with Starfall, and the pulling ability you have is unmatched of any class or spec. Yes, very true. Depends on how much you're farming. Are you looking for short-term or long-term value? For me, it's absolutely worth it, but I cannot answer those questions for you. Yeah, in relation to should you actually just make a balanced druid or brewmaster monk, quite simply, right now, in my opinion, everybody should have a druid. Everybody should have a druid, even if you're not, even if you're like me, who's not into farming, you will always find having a druid to be useful, whether it be to set them as a double gatherer, so herbalist miner, and if you've got a spare hour and you don't want to spend it dealing with auctions or crafting items, you can just run around, pick stuff up, maybe bang out a few world quests whilst you do it, do something real simple, real easy, and still end up with a bunch of gold in your bags at the end of it. Having a druid is really, really good for gold making, even if you don't enjoy farming. Interestingly, he's gone into Covenant choice, basically claiming that Night Fae is the absolute best. You get free Starfall almost every time, and you get lots of astral power with the Night Fae ability. No one will reject you from a group for not being Night Fae, but if you want the most efficient farming group, then go for Night Fae. Fair enough. And he's even gone into talents for the druid, and yeah, this is looking pretty good. Tailoring and Shadowlands cloth scavenging will make you loot a lot more cloth. Very true. I rotate between 3 professions on my farming character: tailoring, enchanting, and then skinning. I always keep skinning because you need that to be at maximum skill to have the most yield. I do not craft anything on this character, so I switch between enchanting and tailoring as I need. When I need to disenchant items, pick up enchanting. When you need to farm something, pick up tailoring for the cloth scavenging. Pretty simple. If you're not leveling up the professions, there's no reason that you can't switch between them sort of ad hoc. Pretty sensible. Then Unicats has posted some very helpful routes for herbalism in each Shadowlands region. I've actually tested some of these out. They're very good. Can confirm they are very good. The Bastion one is not exactly the route that I would take, although it does kind of work. Instead of going through the trench here, I would actually be skirting around the outer edge and then cutting back through, but the rest of the route is exactly what I would be doing. Because mainly when you run through this trench, there's lots of things that aggro. You have to fight a whole bunch of things, but there are some good nodes down there. If you run up the top and around the cliff edge here, you very rarely aggro anything, and there's just as many herbs, but it's a slightly longer route. Moldraxxus, I've not tested this one, but equally it's very similar. The fact that you can almost do a big figure of 8. That's the way I tend to do Moldraxxus, and this is how I was doing it on the beta. Coming down this way, skirting down this side is also valuable sometimes, but it's basically running around the middle and up to the House of Eyes. stay off the edges in Muldraxxus, because there's lots of things that's going to kill you. Do you recommend Druid Double Gatherer to twink at level 50? I don't really think twinking at 50 is much of a benefit, if I'm honest right now. Especially if you're going double gathering. What up, dog? You not happy being in here? Let me let you out. Go on then. Apologies for that small dog-related interruption. The Ardenweld one was one I was testing the other day. This is a really good farming route. This works really, really well. This has been very cleverly put together so that you can basically do near the entire route, if you follow this, without actually aggroing anything, which is massive. When you're out there doing herbalism and mining, the last thing you want to do is be aggroing mobs, because all that is doing is taking time for you to kill them, and the more time you're killing mobs, the less time you're running around farming things. So this route actually works very cleverly. There's only a couple of points where you might aggro something, but if you know about them, if you're a druid, just go into stealth form, pick up the herb and then run away kind of thing. It's pretty easy to do this entire route without aggroing anything. And the Revendreth one is the only one I've not tested so far, but it's interesting the fact that this route is highlighting the southernmost part of Revendreth and going pretty extensively round it. My farming route of choice for Revendreth was actually in Sinful, which is over here roughly. I'd never really done this route previously, so I should probably give this a good go to see how well it works. Are there only pictures or routes to the links as well? If you actually look at this was taken from a Reddit post. There's a link here to the actual Reddit post where there's the import code for routes. So yeah, definitely you wanna check these out if you've got your herbalism and mining character. Pretty optimized routes. Definitely worth an upvote. And then finally, for this week's economy report, we have a 2-button fishing method. A useful guide if you want to make good use of fishing right now, considering the prices are high because of the demand on the food. There's a nice setup for some semi-AFK fishing. No add-ons, you don't even have to move the mouse, so it can be done with a controller. Interesting. Go into your key bindings and then target bind interact on mouse over to a key. This example, we're going to use the I key since that's what I was using. Now put your fishing ability on the hotbar and bind that to another key. I use the O button since that's right next to the I button. Okay, so you can just sort of like press between the two. Buy an oversized bobber at the fishing vendor in either Orgrimmar or Stormwind, and wherever one in the Ouroboros does not have it. Interesting. You have to go back to Orgrimmar or Stormwind to get the oversized fishing bobbers. Now go to a fishing vendor in Ouroboros and buy some bait for the fish that you're looking for. Optional, but you will get some of these. Optional, as you'll get some of these when fishing. Yeah, the fishing bait you can pick up just naturally by fishing, but you can also buy it if you wish as well. Head over to a fishing spot, use the oversized bobber and the bait. Now you can just press I to cast your line out and O to catch the fish. Either zoom out or position the camera behind the bobber towards your character. Zoom in to first person view and hover the mouse over the bobber. The bobber should be big enough so that you don't need to move your mouse, and continue pressing I and O to catch fish whilst moving a movie or doing anything you want. This is interesting. This is something that people have been kind of aware of for a long time, but not many people really talk about. When you are fishing, if you zoom heavily into one spot, your bobber will land there every time. If you're fully zoomed out on your character, the bobber can go basically anywhere it wants. But if you zoom super far in, the bobber always has to land somewhere on the screen. And so it basically lands in the same plot, same space every time. Meaning you can do cheeky things like this and do some fishing very, very quickly and easily. I've not watched the actual video for this specifically. But Want to Buy Gold, or Reckles as he's commonly known, did a really good fishing video on exactly this. I want to say a couple of years ago now, where he was basically, I think the video was titled something along the lines of "You're all doing fishing wrong," and it basically explained about this large bobber situation, and that if you zoom in, the bobber lands in the same spot each and every time, and he talks about it in great detail. But this is a good refresher for people, considering that there's a lot of people that will never have seen that video. So, but there we go. That was the weekly economy report. Is that number 155? Was it maybe? How many are we on now? 155. So yes, there we go. There was the economy weekly wrap up. Pretty good this week. Not just because I was featured in it, but you know, lots of helpful stuff there. Cool. I enjoyed that. What did everybody think? What's your opinion on alchemy profits? There's not much. There's not much profit for alchemists. The profit in alchemy comes from acquiring your materials cheaper than the next alchemist. If you can do that, you win. If you can do that, you win. Rank 4 cloth chest sold for 95k. I really am going to have to hurry up and finish leveling my mage, aren't I? It kills me to consider the fact that I might be missing out on some gold. To be honest, on all three of my realms, the crafting profit on potions is higher than it's ever been in Legion or BFA. If that's the position you're in, take advantage of that really quickly. As the way that the profession is set out right now, that may not necessarily always be the case. Let's get these back on the auction house. Same dude we're having to undercut all the time, but it's fine. This guy's chilling. He is also online for like 18 hours a day, which is a bit ridiculous, but sure. Got to do what you got to do, right? Now we need to actually look at doing some restocking. So let's pick up that callous hide that we bought. We're going to need to turn that into heavy callous hide first and foremost. Go. Are we logged out on our other account? Of course we are. I'm too deep in the legendary market to take on alchemy as well right now. Well, this is it. Like, quite literally, I'm very aware that there is profit to be made in other things right now. But I quite simply just don't have time or the desire to do everything right now. It's a weird situation. Like at the end of BFA, for example, we were fighting over making 10k gold an hour. Now I won't even get out of bed for 10k gold an hour, you know? The fishing bobber is not big enough to have to move the mouse. You have to move the mouse a lot less, but once you have the mouse in hand, I don't think it matters if you have to move 1 or 2 centimeters. Okay. Reset eternal crystals, but after I bought 107 crystals, 7k. Well, there was your mistake. There was your mistake. You spent 7k on a crystal, a single crystal, and you only bought 100 of them. Yeah, I think your mistake was you tried to reset a market without having big enough pockets to do it. The only way you're going to reset a market like that at the moment is if you have 20 million to do it. Yeah, you got to remember that sometimes what is on the auction house is not what exists. There may only be a small amount on the auction house because somebody's auctions had expired and they just haven't relisted them yet. You've got to be aware of these things. And resetting material markets is super risky, like super risky. Please, 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 for the love of all that is holy, make a lithium ore be cheaper. No. What are we going to do about this? Are we going to just going to bite and play game and up our prices for everything? I mean, the concern here is that there's literally nothing for me to buy. I mean, we can go up to 134 average. And we can reset the price. We can reset the price to 180 gold for a lithium. And that will only give us 1500 lithium ourselves. That's... The issue is I don't really want to... 135 gold for each one is expensive based on what I've been buying it for in the last few days. My concern is, though, if I don't buy it, somebody else will. And on that basis, I might as well be the one buying it. Because I don't have any right now. And I'm going to need some anyway. It's more than I want to spend. But I'd rather spend... Yeah. Ha ha! It's almost like somebody's watching, you know? It's almost like somebody's watching. Somebody's just hoovered it all up, literally as I was looking at it. I reset a lithium last night. It's back to 150 today. There's a sneaky supply out there. It'll drip feed in. What you'll notice with a lithium is that it will often be listed by many, many different people. It's not just like 2 or 3 people that are listing it. It's literally like 10 or 20 different people all the time. You'll never see the same name more than sort of once or twice. It's because people will go out in the moor, they'll farm a bunch and then they'll throw it on the auction house and they'll just undercut. And after 20 people undercut it, it becomes quite cheap again. Well, considering somebody just swooped in and hoovered up all of the cheap stuff literally while I was contemplating whether to do it or not, I can now buy 500 of it and it ups my unit price to 144. That I'm not willing to do. So I'm just going to leave that there and I'm just going to hope that I have enough lithium bars already. I've got 500 enchanted lithium bars still, which is the equivalent of... That's the equivalent of 1,000 lithium ore. Somebody's reset the price on the enchanted bars as well. Okay, well it looks like after the weekend blacksmithing is going to get expensive. Or blacksmithing crafted items are going to get expensive. I'll still make profit on everything that I sell. It's just going to cost people more gold. Right, let's see what we actually need to recraft. Who knows? I did a recraft literally before I went to bed yesterday, so in theory I probably don't actually need to recraft all that much. People who ask for crafting materials always ask, okay, so what mats do you need? They genuinely can't believe that the prices for leather is that high before seeing it. Yeah. It's very similar to a conversation I had yesterday, where quite literally somebody came and complained to me that they were never going to pay 100,000 gold for the helm that they wanted to buy off the auction house, and that I was ripping people off. Until I told him to like have a look at the material prices, and I told him it cost me I think 70,000 gold to make it in the first place, not to mention the multiple millions of gold it spent me to even be able to craft it in the first place. And very quickly he decided that maybe he just would go without his legendary then. That was quite literally his case. He was like, oh well, fuck it, no legendary for me then. I mean, because people have come out the back of Battle for Azeroth, where people were fighting to make 150k in a month to be able to afford their game time, to be able to buy a token to buy game time. For somebody to casually drop 100,000 gold on their legendary right now, there's a lot of people that just won't buy it. Which is why I think if this trend continues, people are going to start kicking up a fuss, and that's when Blizzard might step in and change something. Because when it becomes a what's the word, a PR issue, that's when Blizzard will fix it. Can you recommend any good videos for making your own operations? Yeah, Samadan has some pretty good videos. They're pretty lengthy, but they're pretty detailed. They're not bad. I really ought to get around to making some TSM videos. But I'm not to say that I'm reluctant to do it, but I'm kind of annoyed at TSM generally at the moment. To the point that to the point of which I don't really want to promote their add-on at the moment, because they don't seem to wish or have any desire to keep their add-on up to date. TSM has sent tweets again. Have they really? Have TSM woken up after their 4-week hiatus? Best combination, Samadan for TSM and Manthieus for Auction House Knowledge. I'll take that. That's a title I'll happily take. Right, let's see what we need. So to do our restock, simply on the basis that we have to do most of it manually, we go to our auctions, and because I make sure that I have at least 2 of everything on the auction house, and if it goes under crafting cost, I just post it at my minimum so that it is at least always on there. It means when it comes to restocking, I can just go shadow, ghast, filter by name, so it's alphabetical, and I can very quickly then look at what we have and what we don't have. So arm guards, we've got rank 2s and rank 3s on the auction house, but no rank 1s. So we need 2 rank 1 arm guards. Did I only make 1 then? I did only make 1 then. 1 more then. 2 rank 1 arm guards. What's next? Breastplate. We should have rank 1s and rank 2s. We've got 2 rank 1s, but we're missing a rank 2, so let's craft one of those. Not far off rank 3 in this, actually. Gauntlets. We've got a rank 1. We're missing a rank 1. Rank 2s we have 2 of, rank 3s we've got 2 of, and rank 4s we've also got 2 of, so they're stocked. Greaves, these are the ones I usually expect to be missing some of. We've still got our rank 1s, we've got our rank 3s, we're missing a rank 4, and we're missing both our rank 2s. So we need a 4 and 2 2s. And this, unfortunately, is the most optimal way I've found of restocking right now. Manadan, let's try and make it a thing. Cross between, I guess that's a cross between Manthieus and Samadan, right? Helm, we have rank 3 available to us. We have 2 rank 1s, 2 rank 2s, and 2 rank 3s, that's good. Shadowgas Pauldrons at rank 4, rank 1s, rank 2s, rank 3s, and rank 4s. We're stocked. The Sabatons. We have 2 rank 1s, that's it. That's it. 2 rank 2s needed, and 2 rank 3s then. We need all of the stuffs. Firstly, we're out of flux again. Jesus. This flux addiction's getting expensive. 2,000? What did I say we needed of these ones? We've literally only got 2 rank 1s, so we need 2 2s, 2 2s, not a 2 2, but 2 2s, and 2 3s. And then the waist guard, 1s, 2s, and 3s we're stocked. Good. Nice. Nice. So we are now, the only thing we're behind the curve on is the breastplate. We're behind the curve on this. I say behind the curve, we're not technically, it's still only week 2 technically. We still only need to be at rank 2s. But I'm thinking going forward to Wednesday. By Wednesday we want to be rank 3 in everything, minimum, because that's where the demand will then be. We are rank 3 in everything for blacksmith. We're 4 in 3 slots now. Yeah. So maybe I'll wait for now. I'm not going to do it now, simply because, as we've already established, enchanted Elysium bars are a little bit rare today. And with that in mind, I don't want to dump what's going to be 5 times 20. I don't want to dump 100 bars into getting this to rank 3. Because those 100 bars are likely going to be needed to restock probably the Greaves multiple times today. So yeah, I'm going to have to be cautious today exactly what I spend my lithium bars on, I think. But that's a full restock. That's 2 of everything. 2 of everything crafted and soon to be on the auction house. For blacksmithing at least. Our materials are dwindling though, quite substantially. We're down to less than 2,000 Shadowgas ingots in total again. We've still got almost 500 arboreal shards, but they're just a case of go buy them from a vendor, so it's no biggie. I really wish I didn't feel the need to order everything like this, but I do, so what you gonna do? There we go. Right, that was blacksmithing then. Let's get those up on the auction house. First and foremost, let's do a cancel scan. Can't stock more legendaries with these lithium prices. If I farm it myself, well, 50 or 100 ore doesn't do much when I need 500 or 1,000 plus. Yep, that's the situation you end in. That the quantity of materials you need is just unmanageable by any one single person. Meaning that if you want to do this at scale, you are literally buying out multiple people's worth of lithium. And so you kind of have to just hope that there's many people out there farming it. I'm stocking quite a bit at the moment. I think I'll look for a reset on one ingot component as we push reset to try and shut down some of the competition that wasn't prepared. Yeah, I'm tomorrow I will probably look at resetting markets ahead of Wednesday. It'll give me the opportunity to snag a whole bunch of materials, hopefully. Even if I have to pay over the odds for them. But it will be, I think long term it will be beneficial. I'm out of space. Let's just what's going on with all of these? Wow, that's a good price for those. Essence of Torment. Let's just dump them all in that point. We'll only do them for 12 hours. I mean, that speaks for itself. There is like literally no Essence of Rebirth on the auction house right now. Like literally none of them. There's not even enough there to make a single rank 4 ring. Literally not even enough there to make a single rank 4 ring. A rank 4 ring needs like 40, I want to say. That's 20. Alright, maybe there's enough to make one. But outside of this, if anybody needs to restock their rings, and they need to restock, and they don't have the rebirth right now, they're going to have to resort to either looking at, let's look at ore for a second, Phaedrum ore to get the, oh my god, look what's happened to the ore prices as well. Phaedrum ore is now up to 80 gold a piece. Somebody's reset that. And is it Phaedrum ore that the, yeah, yes. Wow. Okay, that's really interesting. So, legendary rings have all of a sudden got pretty expensive again. Even Leystrite ore is being reset. Interesting. This happens every Monday. Every Monday, a whole bunch of people dive in and reset a bunch of markets. Mainly, I think it's because people want to buy up a whole bunch of the sort of cheap stock that was left over from the weekend, so that by the time Wednesday turns up, they've got stock to make things with. Why do people put mats at 427,000 gold? Seen it often, and the numbers always seem around that number. Are they increasing average region price? Why not put it at 5 million then? I mean, we've spoke about this a little bit. I'm not entirely sure exactly why it's 427,000 gold every time. But I have a feeling it's something to do with bots. If you use one of the, I'm quite sure there's probably a bot program that does all of that, and it's just pre-programmed to use that set price. And it's ultimately designed so that when people buy out an entire market, they might sometimes accidentally buy that one, and somebody accidentally buying that one basically means that that character has a whole bunch of gold all of a sudden. Protection Paladin skinning's really nice. Maybe try it sometime. I would do, apart from the fact my Protection Paladin is my blacksmith and my enchanter. So, yeah. Neither of them are dropping either of those professions anytime soon. Wonder how many people potato like that. Obviously enough people that people still feel the need to do it. The day the world boss Nurgash muck form spawns, every unholy DK will buy their Shadowgas legs. Just a little heads up. I think a lot of unholy DKs have already bought their Shadowgas legs, or at least are already buying them, because these Shadowgas legs are easily one of the hottest sellers. Somebody just dumped 4,000 Elysium. This is what happens when people do market resets. You'd be amazed at how many materials just kind of come out of the woodwork. All of a sudden there's a lot of materials that weren't there a minute ago. Now all of a sudden they are. This dude, for example, or these pair that have got like over 1,000 Elysium ore at this price. Nuno, thanks for the sub. Welcome. These couple right here, in 2 hours' time, when all of this ore expires, you know what they're going to do? Is they're going to come straight back to the auction house and they're going to dump it here. So that will be 1,000 ore that will move from here all the way down to here for some lucky person to pick up. Because that's what people do when they're out. They gather materials, they post it on the auction house, and they either wait until those materials hit their auction or hit their bank again, their mailbox, and they have to relist them, or they get the gold for them. If they just get them back in their mailbox, they go back to the auction house and they just undercut the most cheapest price, and then they wait again. Think of a number and double it. Oh, how do I price 235s if you're the only one being able to craft them? Yeah. Think of a number. Think of a big number and then double it. No, the Unholy Bis Lego doesn't drop until next week. They'll be buying once it drops. I'm aware that they can't get it yet, but that doesn't mean... I mean, I've had conversations with people who have been buying rank 4s off me, and they've said that they know full well that they can't use it. They're buying it ahead of time in advance. A lot of people are buying them now because they see them being posted cheaper and cheaper every day, and are very aware that by the time that the item can actually be used, that it'll probably spike in price. And so I've been told that by a couple of different people that have bought stuff off me, that they're buying it now because they think it's cheaper now because people can't use them. Yeah, there are some people that are prepared. Not everybody. Most people wait until something happens before they do anything about it. But there are definitely a few people out there buying their legendaries way in advance because they see them cheap now. Nobody wants to wait and find that everybody else has bought out the stock. Yeah, this is it. If they're serious enough to really care. I've had them up for 3 days, 0 sales at 300k, male leather that is. I mean, it's entirely up to you. But you've got to remember, it's a 235 item. The amount of people that are going to buy them is going to be very slim right now anyway. Yes, your price may be super high, but if somebody wants it, they'll buy it. If they don't want it, they won't buy it. But guess what? You don't need to drop the price, because you've got no competition. If you are genuinely the only person selling it, you've got no reason to lower your prices if you don't want to. If that person wants it, they'll buy it. If they don't, they can wait and either find somebody else to make it for them or just not buy it at all. I'm in a relisting war with somebody who bought a pair of my rank 3 shoulders from me. It's a relief because I thought somebody had decided to rush them. I've seen that a few times. I've seen people buy an item from me, usually a rank 3 or a rank 4, and then very quickly, shortly after, that same person is listing it on the auction house again. I know a bunch of PvP friends of mine just got a gold token and bought out a rank 1 to 4 Lego with the gold from it. If people want the ranks they get. Oh, you're talking about the WoW tokens? Yeah. Yeah, you'd be amazed at how many people will actually buy WoW tokens to buy the gear that they want. It's not uncommon. Not uncommon at all. It's literally the why the tokens exist in the first place, because if people want gold, it's a legitimate way for them to buy gold without having to go to some shady third-party website and risk getting banned. Alright, there we go. Let's get those items back on the auction house. What I do need to do is quickly run through some of the items and see if there's anything being sold really cheap, or see if there's any opportunities to reset some markets, especially since I think Wednesday is going to be another incredibly bountiful day if we play our cards right. Was that everything out the mailbox? Oh, there's one pair of 210 legs left. That's fine. They'll get listed next time. Right, let's take a look at Shadowgast. Let's go alphabetical because it's just easier to work with. Haven't paid for anything in WoW with real money for 3 years. I love goal making. Yeah, when you start getting good at it and don't have to actually spend much time doing it if you don't want to, you can very quickly be entirely self-sufficient just by playing the game. Let's look at arm guards then. 190s. There's boatloads of them. We've obviously got people that are trying to get into the market still, because they're, you know, doing the default craft 15 and then postal 15 business, which is just bonkers, but sure. With my new prices, I'm not willing to compete on these, which is why mine are right down the bottom. Interestingly, my competition, who this dude is probably my biggest competition. Yeah, I've spoke to the guy. He's a reasonable dude. He's also decided he's not willing to sell them at these ludicrous prices either. So these people that want to give their gold away, sure, you guys carry on. I'm not going to stop you. The 210 market is interesting. Maybe I need to just sort this by item level. 210 market, there's a reasonable amount of them here. They're nicely profitable as well, so that's fine. We'll leave those there as they are. 225. See, this is the interesting thing. Because there's not the demand on the 225s right now, the price of the 225s has come down to virtually what the price of the 210s are in the arm guards. Simply because the 225s have steadily been coming down over a few days. In fact, there's nobody with 235s even on the auction house for these arm guards. Oh, boy, do I wish I had some spare materials right now. Yeah, 225s have come down to like, I mean, these are still wildly profitable. They cost only about 12k to make right now, and they're being listed for 16,500. So selling them will make a profit. But next week, I imagine these same 225 arm guards will probably end up being listed for 50k each. So while I can sell them now, I can sell them at a profit, and when I recraft, I'll gain the skill points to get to rank 4. Once I'm at rank 4 though, I'll probably take these off the auction house. On arm guards, are we close to? We've still got some way to go. So we still need to work on just minimal profits but maximum turnover until we hit rank 4. So the arm guards market is looking alright. I could really do with a 235, you know, considering nobody else has got them. But that would require me to craft over 250, maybe 300 bars worth of arm guards, which I'm not willing to do right now. Blizzard UI is best for looking at reset options for Legos, in my opinion. Shows the lowest price for each item level quickly. Yeah, the Blizzard UI is pretty good for like catching out people posting the wrong item levels at wrong prices. But for me, what I'm also very interested in when I look at just doing a market analysis is I want to know who is also listing it, because a lot of these names I recognise and I know kind of who they are and what they sell and whether they're a goblin or not. And I also want to quickly be able to see who are the numpties that are just, you know, new to the game, don't know what they're doing. Like there's a few names on the list that I'll see repeatedly. I like this seller column, which you don't get in the default UI, which is why I choose not to use it. Although yes, I do agree, the default UI is still pretty good. Still pretty good. It just is not exactly what I want it to do. So you could reset the 225 market and flip it. Are we talking about these arm guards? There's literally way too many there for me to flip it, and they're all way above profit. I guess you weren't talking to me. I guess you would. But the arm guard market is looking alright. I can live with that. Breastplate. 190s, genuinely not that many of now actually, which is interesting. Whereas there was a lot of these the other day. I was never really selling rank 1 breastplates though. It wasn't until I powered up and decided to invest a whole bunch of gold into making a bunch of them just to get to rank 2 that I've actually started to see consistent sellers. But rank 2s have actually always been really profitable as well, simply because many people were stuck in this 190 zone, stuck not selling the 190s, and so never got to 210. Now obviously you can see this Darius dude is another one that's just trying to power level his way to the top of the tree, and obviously not doing himself any favours. On my realm, arm guards are not selling. They're not the hot seller, but I've definitely sold a fair few of them. Let's go revenue. Shadowghast arm guards. I'm selling 4 or 5. Well, yeah, 4 or 5 a day, I'd say. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 4 or 5 a day. 4 days ago, what would have that been? That would have been like Wednesday or Thursday maybe. Then they were popping off that day. Yeah, last Wednesday they were popping off. Yeah, 4 or 5 a day. Not huge by any stretch of the imagination, but they're good enough. What's interesting for me is when I see things like this happen, 3 days ago, 21 hours ago, so at the exact same time, and this is an indication of just how much people don't know about how the system works. I sold a rank 1 and I sold a rank 2 to the same dude at the same time. This isn't somebody like trying to buy me out to reset a market or something. This back then was a rank 1 and a rank 2 at the same time, when in theory they only needed to buy the rank 2. But people don't know that if you've got the Soul Ash, you can just craft a rank 2. People are thinking that you have to go 1 to 2 to 3 and upgrade it. People just don't know what's going on. Another example here, look. Exactly the same time, same guy buying a rank 1 and a rank 2. And I see this pattern all the time. Got 2 arm guards rank 4 up since about 4 days. I think I'm always on top and never sold any. It's not the main slot, but I mean, every one of these characters has decided that every single one of these characters has decided that they're going to go with the arm guards, so somebody obviously is. Is there a way to change TSM to recognise rank 1 rings from 2 to 3, etc.? No, unfortunately not. It's just a limitation with the add-on right now. Looking into mine, somebody bought rank 3 helm and shoulders for like 250k. Yeah, when you start analysing it, you see you truly start to understand just how little people understand the legendary crafting system. Some people think that you have to buy a rank 1, a rank 2, a rank 3 and a rank 4. A lot of people then don't realise that you can, if you have enough Soul Ash, just craft a rank 4. I've seen a whole bunch of weird stuff happen. Seems like rings sell more than necks. Yeah, they definitely do. Definitely do. The ring is a much safer option for people. I mean, necks are. I think I can't remember which class it is, but a lot of the legendary memories that can go on the neck drop from the raid, which has meant that initial demand on them has been pretty low. Do I keep relisting or let this guy get the first sale just to get his money back on an item he isn't using? That's up to you. That's just the nature of the undercut war. Sometimes just letting them get that first sale, it works. But you got to remember, when you're talking about crafted items, if he sells it, he can just craft another one and do the same thing again. The letting them get the first sale mentality usually only works on things like BOEs, which they then can't craft again. Breastplates at 210, there's loads of them. They're all profitable, we'll leave them as it is. This same dude that's obviously powered all the way through to 225 has got 3 listed. Now, it's really interesting to me when I see people do this. I genuinely see people power all the way to a point, and it's very, very obvious to me where they ran out of materials or where they ran out of gold. Because this dude has literally posted every single item that he has crafted so far. He's posted a whole bunch of his rank 1s, and he may have been lucky. He was willing to undercut, so he sold a bunch of them. He may still have had some cancelled, he may still have some in his bags, but the realistic side of things is he's probably sold 10 or so of his rank 1 breastplates. His rank 2s, because they are very profitable right now, people like myself are willing to undercut, And so he has probably 15 of them sat on the auction house right now. 10 to 15 of them. He's probably sold a couple. Then he gets to 225 and he's only got 3 on the auction house. Now, that tells me he got halfway through rank 3 and ran out of gold, which means he won't even have rank 4. People are just like, it's like they're playing poker with the cards the wrong way round. They're literally showing everybody their hand. This dude either ran out of gold, or he ran out of resources, or both, or possibly both. And in turn means that he will then very quickly become very desperate to sell these, and he's likely to be the kind of person that will do deep undercuts on these 210s just to get some of his sales. And now if he does that tomorrow, I'll probably just buy them all. If he deep undercuts and starts selling under cost, I'll probably just buy them all. Calling it now, Blizzard Master Plan, rank 5 and 6 Legos will single-handedly drive Activision stock prices with token sales. Yeah, can you imagine? My thought process is very much similar to that. That the long-term plan for professions is to have maybe a rank 5, a 6, a 7 and an 8. I don't think they're going to release like 4 new ranks every tier, but I do think every tier we will see an additional at least 1 rank. Maybe they'll double it up and do 2, but we will definitely see more than 4 ranks during this expansion, that is for sure. Because there's no way they're going to make this entire legendary system, and there's no way they're going to dump it after just the first patch. No way. Meaning that they're going to have to do something with it. And the most obvious thing is to just add more ranks. Will they increase the amount of legendaries you can wear? Well, this is another thing that's been speculated. Was it 3 that we ended up being able to wear in Legion? I can't remember. But yeah, limiting it to 1 right now. Sure, fine. It's a progression path, but the likelihood is that we will possibly be able to wear 2, maybe even 3 legendaries by the end of this expansion, I'd imagine. Was it 2 in Legion eventually we got to wear? We started out only being able to wear 1, I think, and then they upped it to 2 at some point. But I imagine this is Blizzard. They don't come up with much original stuff. They'll just do the same thing again. Imagine trying to get into the market 2 patches from now where there are 8 ranks to get through. Well, the worrying thing is, especially with leatherworking, the worrying thing is that if in patch 9.1 they give a catch-up mechanic. David, thanks for the sub. A whole bunch of you are subbing. Sorry, I'm missing a few of these subs. Welcome to Gerard, welcome. David, welcome. Jan, welcome. Thank you all for the subs. I appreciate it. Yeah, my worry is that after people have spent 20 million gold completing leatherworking, patch 9.1 will turn up and they'll make a catch-up mechanic and people will then be able to get to rank 4 for like 100k. It's going to be a real odd one. Equally, the materials will crash, so might be a lot easier to power level. You say that, but when is there going to be a point where there is not a demand for legendaries? Because once you've got 1 legendary at rank 4, guess what the next thing is you're going to start doing? You're going to start looking at, well, which is the next legendary that I can pick up? Each class has, what is it, like 10 different, I mean, you've got like 4 legendary powers, just generic ones, and then like 4 specific to your spec. That's 8 possible legendaries that you could want to make, soul ash permitting. cost permitting. And that's only if you play one spec. Imagine if you heal occasionally, and you want to you heal occasionally, but you also like to play DPS. You're going to have to double up on your legendaries at least on that one character then. And then that's before you even look at ults. Shadowlands is a very ult-friendly expansion. At what point would you choose to not want to get a legendary on your ult? You probably would. Who knows? Heavy Callus hits 200 gold, I'm buying 30,000 of them. Yeah. Rank 8 leather's going to require 250 each. But that's it. Then you even look, like you said, then you even look at the different types of content. Like if you're primarily just a DPS class, but then you have a legendary that works very well for you in the raid, and that's what your primary focus is, so you make that legendary first. But you also like to do some PvP from time to time, so there's another legendary that works better for that. And then there's a legendary that does really well for AoE, which is going to benefit you massively when you're doing Mythic Plus with your mates or your guild or whatever, so you're going to craft one of those. There's also this cool legendary that you've found that works really well in Torghast, so you might want to look at crafting that one at some point and all. These all of a sudden, each character, it's not going to be just a one legendary done system. Do you think they'll introduce a whole new crafting tier again in a future patch? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, never have Blizzard not done that. It would be out of the ordinary for them to not do it. So, by simple assumptions, then yes, I think they will. Whether it will be entirely new or whether it will be built on top of what we already have is debatable still, but is leatherworking profitable when you start now? Is it profitable if you start now? If you start slow and you start small, then yes. Start slow, start small, then yes. Don't try and power level to rank 4 on the first day of leatherworking. Craft 2 or 3 different item slots. Craft a few 190 rank 1s. Try and sell them. Once you've sold them, then if you do sell them, craft them again. Do it again. If you don't sell them, maybe move to something else. This is the only way that you can really do it. Hang on. Are we effing? Are we effing? Hang on. Please sign into your channel to continue using... Hey? Live streaming isn't available right now? What's going on? Hang on. Are we still live, boys and girls? Why has... What is going on? Still live? Yes? Okay, my YouTube dashboard has just done a madness. It's for some reason just signed me out of everything. Hang on. We will return to our regular scheduled programming momentarily. Sorry we could not log you in at this time. Please try. Okay, right. YouTube's broken. YouTube is eating Doritos. Yeah, tell me about it. Okay, YouTube is probably just being DDoSed or something stupid right now. Okay, YouTube's bust. If we F, let me know. But for the time being, I've got no dashboard for YouTube. So if I disconnect, I can't see it. So you'll have to tell me. Not that you'll be able to tell me, but yeah, you know. Right. Where did we get to? We only got to the breastplate. We were doing a little bit of market analysis and we didn't get very far, did we? Gauntlets. What's gauntlets looking like? 190s appear to be a little bit all over the place. There's a whole bunch of these ones, super expensive. A lot of people that want to get into the gauntlet market by the looks of things. Look, a whole bunch of people. All over the place, all with all after that quick cash cow. At 210s though, it looks to get a little bit more civilized. There's only a handful of 210s here, all profitable though. 225s, well, we can tell somebody boosted into 225s and hasn't learnt how to cancel scan yet. And he's obviously... The funny thing is as well, when I see people do this, I also know full well that they're definitely not using TSM. Because there's no way you would set TSM up to do this. This has been done manually. This is somebody going, boom, select all, bang, whack them on the auction house, job done. When I see people do this, I'm also very confident that they're unlikely to get into a cancel scan war with me. And if they do, I'll be much quicker than they are. So even though this dude has obviously powered his way all the way up to rank 4, I'm pretty confident that he is not going to be competition to me in the slightest. Meaning I've basically got the monopoly on the rank 4s. Now, in theory, I could buy his 1 out and do a reset price on this. But it would cost me 50k to reset it. And I can't guarantee that he won't be stupid, because he's proven himself to be stupid before. Yeah, this has proven to me that he's stupid to begin with. Meaning if I do a reset price on the rank 4s and reset them to 200k, he's likely going to come in and just post another one for 50k. So in some instances, I would just buy this out and reset the price, but 50k is still double crafting cost right now. So, and it's a rank 4, so I don't technically plan on even selling them in the first place. Is YouTube in general just balked, or is it just the sign in? I think YouTube generally is just down. That's odd. How do you learn to craft higher rank legendaries? You literally have to craft the basic one. YouTube is broken just now. If you leave the stream, you won't be able to get back to view it. Well, then don't go anywhere. Don't press anything. I'm going to continue. But it does appear that YouTube is royally balked right now. Even Google in general, you can't log into Google Drives or anything. So YouTube is having an oopsie. Just don't press refresh. Just don't press anything. I'm going to continue streaming though. Let me know if you have any issues. But yeah, so under some circumstances I would buy this out to reset, but I'm not going to because the guy's proven himself to be a fool. Is there a way you have to post quickly to TSM? I tried to do the scroll wheel macro and it didn't work. Yeah, the scroll wheel macro thing doesn't work for me either right now. It's probably a conflict with some other add-on, but I'm not in the business of bug fixing. I don't know what it is that's causing it. All I know is that something is causing it. Right, Shadowghast Greaves. This is always going to be a fun one, because this is a real hot seller right now. Real hot seller. So we have hundreds of people trying to sell the 190s. Interestingly, everybody is trying to sell their 190s. My craft cost currently, which is about 30% higher than it should be. So craft cost is about 6 to 7k. So all of these people are selling at or below craft cost on the 190s just to dump stock. So stock dumping is still a thing. It's still definitely a thing. At rank 2s though, let's see what's happening at rank 2s. Once again, less sellers at rank 2s. A little bit more civilized. And the price is competitive enough for me to be willing to compete. And so hence I am at 15k. Then at 225s, I'm 3 behind right now. I think rank 3s, interestingly. Yeah, rank 3s are starting to be below crafting cost. It's a real weird one. I'm so tempted. So tempted. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 there. It's going to cost me 75k to reset the price. It will additionally give me some rank 3 stock, because I'm very aware of the fact that buying these for 17,000 gold now might be a huge play come Wednesday, when everybody wants to buy their 225s, and I've then reset the market price to like 160k. And forget rank 4s because nobody cares yet. It's dangerous because right now, craft cost on a rank 3 is it's basically this price anyway. In fact, it's more sensible because I've got rank 4 unlocked. When I recraft, I'm not recrafting for the purpose of gaining experience. I'm recrafting for the purpose of just actually having stock. So I think I'm going to buy these out. I'll start by cancelling mine. Start by cancelling mine, that way I buy from the back, and the reason I buy from the back is because it means there's less chance of somebody coming in and quickly posting some. Oh no, TSM, don't crash on me now. Don't crash on me now. This is not the time to need to do a reset. YouTube violated its own terms of service and banned itself. Yeah, obviously. YouTube is still balked. As long as you don't refresh the page, you'll be fine. This is not the time for this to be doing this. 225s, there's one. Buyout, please. Right, there's all the 225s bought. If I get that on the auction house nice and quick, that's going to reset the price to 160k. Now buy the ones we bought and repost these. There we go. So we have 2 up on the auction house. Boom! There we go. Nice cheeky little market reset there on something that's not really going to be a big play for us just yet. I mean, if we sell a couple at 166k, GG. But the fact that that's given us 4 pieces of 4 225 legs, basically at crafting cost, without us actually needing the Elysium bars to craft them ourselves, because we don't benefit from experience points anymore because we've got rank 4. So this may easily pay. If we sell one of these, it's paid for itself. Cool. I like. Can I log into YouTube yet? YouTube's thinking about it. I genuinely think I've been relisting against myself for the last hour because I had my items sorted wrong in the auction house. I couldn't fathom why the guy was so desperately relisting. I mean, some people have undercut problems. Most people's undercut problems do not end up being themselves. Oh dear. Yeah, YouTube is officially balked. Google in general is completely busted right now. I don't know what's going on. But YouTube is officially busted. What's the website? Like Down Detector or something? Is it Down Detector? Yeah. Let's see what it says about YouTube. Oh no. Oh no. The world is being DDoSed. The entire world is being DDoSed. Check this out. Right. There's a website that tracks tracks which websites are up or down. When a flat line means that everything is normal. These spikes are reports of that service being down. YouTube, Gmail, Google, Drive, Classroom, YouTube TV, Pokemon Go because it runs off the back of some cloud server, Google Maps, RuneScape even, surprisingly. Then we get more Google, YouTube Music down, Duo down, Google dead. Google's being hit pretty hard. Google Calendar down. Yeah, Google's balked. Somebody broke Google. This is what happens when Google goes down. Maybe it's all a big scam. Maybe that's Twitch's way of taking the advantage. Because obviously Twitch runs everything off AWS. Because it's Amazon owned. Who Googled Google? Google dead. Hello? Just go to downdetector.com. Downdetector.com. Yeah, Google's dead. Yeah, somebody killed Google. RIP Google. Well, so as long as you don't refresh the stream. It's interesting that the front end of Google seems to be completely with the dodos, but I'm assuming I'm still live. People are... Dog, you've gone mad. Oh, dog has been given a tennis ball. Do you want doggo cam for a minute? Hang on. Where's your tennis ball? Where's your tennis? Bruce, where's your ball? Where's your ball? Who's got your ball? Get your tennis ball. Yeah. Turns into a pig. Turn into a pig, don't you? Well, you want me to play ball? Did you? Did you want me to play ball? Who's on the camera? Look. Look. Say hi. Bruce, give me 5. Give me 5. I imagine I'm probably streaming to about 3 people now then. If I'm even streaming to anybody at all. I don't think you want to be in here, do you, dog? Let's let the dog out. Hang on. Oh, you are still here. People are still here. Oh, not Google's not dead everywhere then. I've got no dashboard. I've got genuinely no information about what's going on at all right now. Maybe we just go back to big cam. Go back to big cam. TSM tweets and the internet breaks. TSM doesn't tweet for a month, then they pull a big one. some cleaner somewhere unplugged the internet to plug in a vacuum cleaner. It'll be back shortly. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but it's all a bit funky. Just don't refresh the stream and hopefully things will be fine. I'm probably streaming to about 10 people right now, but I can't tell. I can't remember what I was doing. I got distracted. Oh yeah, we just bought a whole bunch of legendaries, didn't we? Let's keep going with play. I need to this market analysis part of my day usually only takes me about 10 minutes to do. If I ever do it on stream, it always takes ages because I try and talk about what it is I'm actually doing. Oh, there's still 100 people here. Oh, nice one. Cool. Maybe not the entire world is broken then for Google. Where did we get to? We were doing it alphabetically, weren't we? And we've just bought a whole bunch of legs, so it's probably the helm next. Alright, let's have a look. A new player has entered the arena by the name of Diggler. Interesting. I'm not willing to compete with these prices right now, although I probably would have done yesterday, but I've upped my material price because, well, if there's no Elysium ore, then there's no point in me selling my stuff for cheap, unless I absolutely have to. Now give us all the money-making secrets, dude. Hey, that's literally what I'm doing. Shadowgast Helms at 210. Ooh. Ooh, what are you doing? Why did I get to reset the price to 100k a piece for rank 2? And you decided that you didn't like gold, and you undercut me down to 50k. 50k. I mean, I'll play that game, but dudes, come on. Worked hard for that market reset. Did a cancel scan, went away for 10 minutes, 3 rank 3s have sold, easy 325k. Nice. GG. 225s. Not many people selling 225s, enough that I can't really do anything about it though. And interestingly, once again, nobody at 235. Nobody seems to have taken the desire to push to rank 4 with blacksmithing on my realm. Unless they kind of like really have. I mean, there's a probability that some people have, they're just not trying to even sell them. No. That's looking as it should be. 225 helms, what do they actually cost? 225 helms cost about 15k to make. So 22 is fine by now. Although 15k this week, could probably be selling them for 30-40k next week. We'll have to see. Let's go for the next one. Let's go pauldrons. Now I've not had much luck with these the last few days. Weirdly, I had a huge amount of people buying these very early on, and in the last few days the amount of people buying them is like completely dried up, and I don't necessarily know why. But looking at things right now, there's very few people, like common bank character, random dude that probably bought one, didn't want it, random dude probably bought one, didn't want it, then me and another bank character at 190s, 210s. Ah, it looks like we had a reset price on 190s at some point. Interesting. 210s, bit more civilized, still profitable, happy to play this game. 225s. Yeah, things are all looking good. We've still got holding a good price on the top end stuff, which is fine. Just whisper them. I whisper people and they're like, think it wouldn't sell at that price. Yeah, I know. I tend to do that a few times. What's next on the list then? Sabatons. Ooh. Ooh, 1, 2, 3. Only 5. Only 5 at 190. Craft cost. Craft cost of about 4 to 5,000 gold craft cost. So these are still way above craft cost. I'm not usually too interested, especially at 190s, of buying things out just to reset if they're above craft cost. Because these people, although, especially this dude, not so much these other ones, but for the most part people can just go away, craft another one and relist it. So your reset is going to get slashed pretty quickly. Especially when the 210 is selling for virtually the exact, in fact, the exact same price as the 190s. 8,500 gold, 8,500 gold. So these are technically under cost. What's 225s looking like? Me, one other dude, and then one other dude. We're still massively profitable. It's fine, leave it there. And I don't have rank 4 in this slot. Only 2 people do. That market's fine. Nothing to do there. Quite often this is the case, that you go through these and you just find that, well, everything's kind of normal for now. There's not much you can do. Only maybe on 1 or 2 slots a day do I find an opportunity like this that's worth taking. But the more, this is like what I consider like just general maintenance for the market. Most people right now are not willing to do this because most people put a high preference on crafting the item rather than just buying somebody's out to reset a market, because when you craft the item you get the experience. But by the time you hit rank 4 and experience stops mattering, it was way more logical for me to buy out a few that were cheap than to craft them myself. Because crafting them interestingly, I think I just bought back one of my own items. Maybe I even bought back 2 of my own items, you know. Maybe maybe that was the case. Maybe people bought 225s, realised they couldn't use them, put them back on the auction house, and I've just bought them back off myself. Double win. Double win. So look, if these ones I mean, unless of course the 2 I posted, I don't know. I genuinely think at least one of these I bought back off myself. That's quite funny. I'd never thought to look at that before. Um, 190s on the waistguard. These are pretty cheap, but like I said, rarely do I tend to do much with 190s, as I don't expect them to be profitable really anyway. The second you do a relist or a full reset on 190s, the price just gets crashed pretty quickly. 210s though, these are looking possible. One dude that had to have posted 4, didn't he? He had to post 4 of them. Good price on the 225 still, and nobody's got up to 235 in the waistguard. Cool. Shadowgas is all good. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. Let's get cancel scan on the go. Loads of undercuts, and like you said, you'll see these names, at least on your realm anyway. You'll see the same names come up. Not these same names, but you'll see the same names, and that's pretty much the situation we're in right now. That you're really now, for the most part, especially on rank 2s, 3s and 4s, you're just competing with other goblins right now. That cluster of people that were just in it to make a quick buck, they're gone for the most part. They're out of here. And it's leaving the market pretty wide open for goblins to do their goblin-y things, which is nice, which is exactly the situation I hoped for. Because if you leave goblins in control, everybody will make money. Right, let's get all of this back on the auction house. Except the consumers. Most of the consumers are farmers, though. You got to remember this. Like, I don't feel bad for charging large amounts for the items I sell on the auction house, because the people that buy the items from me are probably the same people that sold me the materials in the first place. As far as I'm concerned, it all goes round in a circle. I mean, I know that's not exactly how it works, but yeah, sure. Right. I think what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to leave it there for today's stream. I'm going to probably put a YouTube video together. I want to talk a little bit more about how the legendary situation is going. Give a sort of weekly update on how it's working, how it's looking. Whether I can even upload it to YouTube, though, will be an interesting thing. So if you see a video from me later today, please watch it. Please click the like button on it. Please subscribe if you're new around here. And if you don't see a video from me later, you'll know it's because YouTube is broken. Google is broken and I can't do anything. But yeah. Hope you enjoyed today's stream, guys. I certainly did. We looted a whole bunch of gold. We got a relist done. We went through the weekly economy report, which was actually a pretty good one this week. I enjoyed it. But I'll be back tomorrow. Or actually, we'll see what goes. Maybe this evening. I'm trying to work out a couple of nights. 2 or maybe 3 nights a week I want to stream in the evening. That way I sort of facilitate the NA realms a little bit more. I'm very aware of that. For the first couple of weeks of Shadowlands coming out, I was streaming like in 2 sessions every single day. And there was a lot of new people to the stream, and I don't really want to completely leave them in the dust, if that makes sense. So I need to work out exactly what the schedule will be, so we'll see. If YouTube is still completely balked, though, I've got no choice in the matter. But worst case scenario, I'll see you guys again tomorrow morning. So enjoy your day, happy goal making, good luck selling legendaries, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.